All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. First of all, shout out to Bobby. Bobby's been in my ear for the last 48 hours saying, I've cracked the code. It's going to be Bengals and Rams. And Bobby's a huge Rams fan. And we definitely knew that narrative had legs, and we'll get to why it had a lot of legs. But I was favoring the Bengals-Niners narrative, especially after the death before the game of the celebrity who's connected to Cincinnati and San Francisco. But I'm going to show you just how sick it is, you guys. And this is why 2 years ago, if you recall, 2 years ago when Joe Burrow won the college championship in the Battle of the Tigers, LSU and Clemson, they did something in the fourth quarter that really provoked me. They gave a numerology lesson on the death of Billy Cannon, and I thought, oh my God. And if you recall, the whole numerology lesson was about 20, because Billy Cannon wore the number 20, and Billy Cannon was drafted by the Rams, number 1 overall out of LSU. And notice the Rams won with 20 tonight. But if you guys weren't here 2 years ago, I went down to LSU and I had this. Well, I had a bunch of these. Hold on, let me make this bigger. Let me make myself bigger for a second before we get into this. And this stuff's so evil, you guys. Okay, so I was at LSU. I was playing this video last week. It is online if you want to watch. Somebody took a 15-minute video of me talking to the people at LSU at the campus. We were there for several days. But we had several signs like this. And, this from 2 years ago. Billy Cannon, Joe Burrow. And here, if you can't read it, I'll just read it. It says, is this a coincidence? Joe Burrow transferred to LSU May 20th, 2018, the same day LSU great Billy Cannon died. This is strange for 2 reasons. 1, Billy Cannon won the Heisman in 1959 and defeated Clemson in the college football championship in New Orleans in 1959. 2, Joe Burrow won the Heisman in 2019 and defeated Clemson in the college football championship in New Orleans to conclude the 2019-2020 season. And I actually have 6 more of these flyers for all the people who died in connection to the LSU championship. And just like how this whole month all these people died for the Bengals, it was just like that the year that LSU won the championship. And here, let me make this smaller again so I can show you what I need to show you. I've been talking about this a lot, so it's possible you already know. But again, Billy Cannon, same resume as Joe Burrow, dies the day Joe Burrow goes from Ohio State to LSU. And now he's back in Ohio playing for the Bengals. Notice in Gematria, Billy Cannon equals 59. So does Freemasonry. So does LSU Tigers. Again, 59 was his year. I'm going to show you why this is so messed up in terms of what's going on now. But didn't I have it all there? Anyway, Joe Burrow did transfer. Oh, there it is right there. Joe Burrow transferred from Ohio State to LSU May 20th, 2018. Exact same day Billy Cannon died. And you see where Billy Cannon died in St. Francisville? Pope Francis's birthday is December 17th. In case you don't know this, let me put this up here. Pope Francis' birthday is December 17th, which is Saturnalia. And he's 85 right now, like it's the Rams' 85th season and National Football League's 85. Okay. From his birthday, December 17th, 2021, to the Super Bowl, February 13th. Notice that this will be his 59th day of his age. You see that? And remember, we just said why Joe Biden would win the 59th presidential election, because it was exactly 46 weeks after Pope Francis' birthday. Joe Biden becomes number 46. The word Catholic's 46. Again, from politics to sports. It's all Jesuits. It's all synced up with the Roman Catholic Church. But 59. And part of the reason I like the 49ers more than the Rams today, had the 49ers won today, they would have been playing in their 59th playoff game during the Super Bowl. And Pope Francis is named after St. Francis of Assisi, just like San Francisco is. And plus it would have been Jimmy G's 54th game and all the 54 stuff with the Bengals this year. But here, I'm going to show you why they went with the Rams instead. It's all about Billy Cannon. So notice Billy Cannon. Make sure I got the right thing up on the screen here. Billy Cannon was drafted number 1 overall like Joe Burrow by the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams have been back and forth between St. Louis and L.A. And again, drafted by the Rams, but he never played a game for them. Never played a game for the Rams. He became a Houston Oiler, who are now the Tennessee Titans. And notice the teams he played for. Houston, who's now the Tennessee Titans, Oakland, who's the Raiders, and, of course, Kansas City. And now who's Joe Burrow going to play in the playoffs? He went through the Raiders in the wild card. He went through the Titans in the divisional round. And he went through Kansas City in the conference championship. And now, and that's the other thing, too, that just, it's like, come on, man. Super Bowl 55 was the first ever Super Bowl where the hosting team played in their own game, and now in back-to-back years, they're going to have the hosting team play in back-to-back games. By the way, you guys, the Royal Rumble was yesterday in St. Louis, the other home of the Rams, and I thought that this year's Super Bowl would have a lot to do with Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives Matter is 56. It did start in St. Louis after the Michael Brown shooting in Ferguson, so I suppose that's the Black Lives Matter tribute, having the Rams in it. But Joe Burrow is now going to play all the teams connected to Billy Cannon, who clearly he's already attached to. And again, it just goes to show, just like I'm saying year after year, they kill people for these rigged games. You know? Larry Johnson's finally back on Twitter, and I don't know if his post is exactly right because he's laughing his ass off about, the ritual sacrifice that they did in Cincinnati to get in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's not my demeanor about it. I think he's laughing because he's just... If you missed my interview... We got Larry Johnson's the biggest celebrity that ever interacted with me. He talked to us just before Super Bowl 54. But he's been talking about how evil this stuff is. And, if you listen to the radio show, Larry Johnson of the Kansas City Chiefs is who I'm talking about, who used to be the league's leading rusher, the number one player in fantasy football. But he's been speaking out now for years, if you're not aware of that, and he quit for a while, and I think he was just burnt out. The last time I interacted with him in a message, he said, nobody wants to wake up. I mean, so he quit for a while, but he did post today, and he's just like, he's telling people, man, they're sacrificing people for these games. But anyway, when I did the interview with him, the one sacrifice he talked about is, he used to be with Rock Nation and Jay-Z and Kanye and all that. He talked about how he was pretty sure that Kanye West sacrificed his mom, Donda, for his music career. Anyway, you saw the score today, 20-17. And again, Billy Cannon wore the number 20. I think I lost the video, unfortunately, but if anybody has the LSU Clemson championship recorded, go to the fourth quarter of that game and listen to the announcer do the numerology lesson on the death of Billy Cannon in 20. It was so messed up. It was so messed up. And now the Rams advanced to the Super Bowl with 20 points, who again drafted him overall number 1. But did I forget to show you guys that Pope Francis equals 59? In the most pure cipher, Pope Francis is 59, in light of, again, in Billy Cannon dying in Francisville, and again, Pope Francis. This is his number. This is why Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for Francis. This is why the 59th presidential election was synced with him. He became the Archbishop of Argentina even on the 59th day of the year before becoming Pope, and that just shows that he was in the wings for this all along. And it's probably because his birth name equals 201, that big number with the Jesuits, just like how he's the first Pope to live in Suite 201. But here's the other thing they did with this. And we talked about this back on Christmas. We covered this, and I was humming and hawing about the Rams, but in the back of my mind, I kept telling myself, they're not going to do it 2 years in a row, have the hosting team be in the Super Bowl. Well, I was wrong. And here was a clue. The American Underdog movie came out December 25th, Christmas Day, about Kurt Warner. And it comes out while he's 50 years old. And again, in that most pure cipher, just notice Kurt Warner's 50. You know what else is 50? San Francisco is 50. And it came out on Christmas Day. So the Super Bowl's on the 44th day of the year. From Christmas to the end of the year, 6 more days. So from the movie coming out to the Super Bowl is 50 days later. And, he wore number 13. It's Stafford's 13th season. Stafford came from Detroit, played for Georgia. Detroit and Georgia both equal 44. Of course, Georgia won the college championship this year, which was also synced with the Pope. Again, before week 2 of the college football season was played, which I gave you guys the video on New Year's Eve, we saw how week 2 games were scheduled, synced up with the Pope with big rituals with Georgia and Alabama. And we said, man, this looks like the championship. And we said, if Georgia and Alabama do meet, and we're right about this, the game's on the Pope's 25th day of his age. Notice the word Pope alone is 25. So is Vatican. And so is the word devil. And there's an article out there about how Pope Francis has an obsession with the devil. It was actually published for the first time on the 201st day of the year by CNN. But there's the song, The Devil Went Down to Georgia. We saw that if Alabama lost to Georgia in the championship, they could pick up their 25th loss, and Georgia could pick up their 25th win versus Alabama, sink through the Pope. And the week 2 games were 97 days from the Pope's birthday, which is the 25th prime. So understand, they have synced up the college championship this year with the Pope, and clearly the Super Bowl. And again, the Super Bowl's on the 44th day of the year now. Matt Stafford's finally made it there. He couldn't win a playoff game with Detroit, but he goes to L.A. the year they're hosting. He's now in the Super Bowl on the 44th day of the year after his Georgia Bulldogs win it. So, shout out to Bobby again. Bobby was all over it. Bobby was in my ear 1,000 times. I got like 500 text messages from Bobby in the last 48 hours that it's going to be the Bengals and the Rams. And again, congrats to Bobby. Plus, he's a big Rams fan, so he's happy about it for that reason. But hey, all year, we benefited from understanding how the Bengals and 49ers moved together. I was just thinking that was the better narrative. But this does make sense. I mean, it does. And in light of Billy Cannon, again, here's the other thing about Pope Francis and the Jesuits and Billy Cannon. If you guys don't know, this is the first ever Ignatian year. I want you to see this, and I want you to understand why it's the first Ignatian year and why it matters with Billy Cannon. So I'm searching Ignatian year. You guys can all look up the same thing. It's the first ever one. The Ignatian year opened on May 20th, the 500th anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola. That's who it is, Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of James. The 500th anniversary of when Ignatius the soldier was injured by a cannonball. You see? In the Battle of Pamplona. The year will conclude on July 31st, 2022. That's the day Ignatius of Loyola died in history. It's also the day Roddy Piper died, who tweeted on the Jesuit recognition date that They Live was a documentary, a movie that came out 201 days after his birthday. And if you've never seen They Live, you should watch it because it's a metaphor for what I'm showing on this channel. How when you put on those special glasses, the metaphor, you can see what's right in front of your face that you can't normally see. And again, Billy Cannon died on the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola being shot by a cannonball. And remember, Ignatius of Loyola equals 201. The Jesuit order is 201. Big number with their history. This year, 201 days after the Ignatian year began, that was the day that the news story broke about Nick Cannon's son dying. That was December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. The news broke. Nick Cannon came out and talked about his son dying. Clearly synced up with the Ignatian year. Again, just celebrity sacrifice. You want to be in show business? It's like that tweet from Young Dolph on the 201st day of the year. Money, family, sacrifices. Posted on the 201st day of the year for his Paper Route Illuminati album. Not to mention his label, Paper Route Empire equals 201. Okay. So, yeah, this Hollywood movie was synced up with the release. Again, number 13, Kurt Warner. And they did a number of 13 rituals with Matt Stafford. Again, in his first playoff game this year against the Cardinals, he became 1-3 in the playoffs, beating Brady. He became 1-3 on the road in the playoffs. And then he didn't have a 13 ritual tonight on the board, but you saw what they did. The 49ers were up 17-7. And remember, the 49ers became number 1 all-time for most conference championships. They were tied with the Steelers before today, 16 apiece, but they played the 17th conference championship. The score was 10-7 at halftime, 17 points. Then they were up 17-7. Then they got stuck on 17. The Rams scored 13 unanswered points to win 20-17. And again, Gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. In 2013, if you were watching me, I would have showed you that Los Angeles equals 37, and Los Angeles won tonight 20-17 with 37 points. But by learning reverse, it's been super helpful to us. When you run it in reverse, Los Angeles is 53, and Jimmy Garoppolo, he's stuck on 53 career games. Tonight was his 53rd career game, and he's stuck there. So, and remember, the Rams lost in Super Bowl 53 to the Patriots. That was a Super Bowl we had right, both teams out of the gate. If you guys weren't here that year, we showed why Boston would beat L.A. in the World Series 4-1, 99 days before Super Bowl 53 to conclude the 99th season. I thought Chris Sale would get the win. Instead, he got the save. Chris Sale's number 41. But it was 99 days before the Super Bowl to conclude the 99th season, while Tom Brady was 41, and that's a big Super Bowl number. Super Bowl 41? So anyway, the thing I'm pointing out is understanding these reverse ciphers is also important. But in the beginning, we only knew two: the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. But yeah, it's just the same stuff year after year: scripted games, ritual sacrifice. And if you can follow the narrative, if you crack the code, you can be right about the outcomes, as we've been so many times. And this is a tough year for me for football. This is the worst I've done since, well, it's arguably the worst I've ever done, but definitely the worst I've done since the year of Super Bowl 51. And again, for all the haters out there that want to talk shit, let's just go down memory lane real quick. We'll start in baseball. Let's go to history of World Series. So for anyone who's like, oh, you're wrong, this is all bullshit, let me just tell you what I've accomplished, and then be honest with yourself. Let me know if your accomplishments are anywhere near. So let's just go back. We'll start with the 111th World Series. It's the first time I ever put out a future, and it was very lucrative. Let's go to the 111th World Series right here. The Royals beat the Mets in spring training. Back then, I only knew two ciphers. So all I knew was the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology and this. But here's what I knew. A big number in New York was 111. And my theory was that the Yankees, they were capped. They've done 27 worlds. They've won 27 World Series. MLB's 27. It's like in the NBA. The Celtics and now the Lakers have won 17. Might be capped there. But New York in 111 is a huge pattern, and so is New York in 39 for the record. There was a huge 39 ritual in the World Series. By the way, the only game the Mets won in that World Series, before that game came out, they were coding 39 all day, and I actually put out a video saying, don't be surprised if the Mets win tonight, and don't be surprised if the score is 3-9, and it was. But anyway, spring training, we said the Mets will represent the National League in the World Series, and the Mets were a super long shot, okay? So not bad. That was the first future I ever put out with this knowledge. The next World Series, that's when the Cubs defeated the Cleveland Indians. And if you recall, if you were here, I guaranteed, I don't use that word a lot, but I guaranteed the Cubs would win the World Series. And the reason why is they were on a 108-year drought. And Major League is 108, and there's 108 double stitches on a baseball, which means there's 216 total stitches, like Cleveland's the 216. But here's what else I was showing. Geometry. Back then, I only knew these ciphers. Geometry is 108, and mathematics is 112. And it was the 112th World Series. So I said, doesn't this make so much sense? The tallest buildings in Chicago is 108. It's a big baseball number. Geometry, mathematics. My prediction in spring training, though, was not exactly right. I had the Cubs beating Houston. Because Houston's 112. Now, Houston got eliminated in the regular season. And the day they got eliminated, I said, here's the deal. It's not Houston. The Cubs will win in Game 7 on November 2nd over the Cleveland Indians. It's all about Charlie Sheen, the Major League movie, the 216 total stitches. That's exactly what the Cubs did. They beat the Indians in Game 7. So just imagine you'd put $100 down at the beginning of the year on the Cubs to win. You put $100 down on maybe less because you get a big payout if you get both teams right. But and then it had you re-upped when I said, okay, Game 7, Cubs over Indians, that's a huge payout. That's huge when you can nail the game and the two teams before the postseason starts. So that's what we did that year. Now, let me just show you what happened in the 117th World Series through Vice News. They wrote a hit piece on me. This is about me right here. Nice one. Wacko YouTuber approves World Series was rigged. And sadly, we haven't had a follow-up piece since this, even though we've nailed 1 million. But I'll show you why Sean Newell wrote this piece, why it was Sean Newell. So, just to read the article, he says, what you are watching above is 8 minutes and 33 seconds of commentary that intends to prove that the World Series in all sports really was rigged. It involves Matt Harvey, Hurricane Harvey, Sports Illustrated, Gematria, and alphanumeric cipher that assigns a numerical value to words and phrases and the Charlie Morton pitch count. And that's kind of a bullshit explanation of what it's really about, but he was trying to be a dick. The video comes courtesy of a guy named Zachary K. Hubbard, that's yours truly, and he is convinced that everything is rigged. News, politics, the weather, sports, everything. And again, I don't think everything's rigged, but I think if it's in the world of sports, if it's coming through the TV, it's politics, it's news, most of that's all bullshit and rigged. That's what I think. Getting down to the brass tacks, Hubbard posts that the Astros World Series victory was foretold by Matt Harvey's start in Houston, which just so happened to be the first start after the Houston area was devastated by Hurricane Harvey. That start, coincidentally, was 52 days before the start of the World Series. Hold on to your butts because we've only just scratched the surface. And then he quotes me. The reason that matters is because the word flood in Gematria equals 52. Houston flooded on a date with 52 numerology on August 27th, which was the 239th day of the year, which is the 52nd prime number. It was 27 years to the day of the death of Stevie Ray Vaughan, who is remembered for the album Texas Flood. Think about it. So he writes, in light of these numbers and some other extremely reasonable stuff about the government causing flash floods by doing chemistry in the sky and Charlie Morton recording the final out of Game 7 on his 52nd pitch, it's pretty obvious that baseball is no different than pro wrestling. But it's not just the games themselves that are rigged. Even things like managerial firings are all part of the equation. So anyway, he made fun of this work, and again, you know, from the beginning, floods 52, Earth's 52, the Babylonian god of flooding is Enlil 52, hurricanes 52. The first act of weather warfare was admitted to on August 15th, 1952, which is the day the Jesuits were created in history, who are a military order. Again, Matt Harvey was the first pitcher to pitch in Houston 52 days before the start of the World Series after the flooding of Harvey. Not to mention, a week in advance, we said why Texas should expect flooding on August 27th. I mean, we put that out a week in advance, why that was the perfect day for the flooding. You guys weren't here in 2020. In March, we went through and circled all the 52 dates through hurricane season, and on every single 52 date, a hurricane made landfall except for one, and that date a hurricane formed in the ocean. But anyway, this past year when the Lightning won the Stanley Cup, they won, because remember it was a shortened season, they won their 52nd game winning the Stanley Cup as the hurricane passed through Tampa that day. So this stuff is repetitive. And when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Katrina's also 52. Let's not forget when the Saints won the Super Bowl the first season back in New Orleans after the flooding of Katrina. Again, consistent patterns. Okay, so that's the 113th World Series. And at the end of August, I said why the Astros would beat the Dodgers. I was having trouble picking out what the World Series was that year. I wasn't really hard on anything because it was unclear what they'd do for the 113th World Series. But when LA was burning while Houston was flooding, I said, this is it. Because what he didn't write about is the Sports Illustrated cover that predicted that the Astros would also win that World Series years in advance with George Springer on the cover, who ended up being the MVP. Don't forget, Springer, Harden, and Watt all left Houston at age 31, and Houston equals 31. But anyway, the George Orwell wrote about the future of weather control, and the Sports Illustrated article, God, there was something about Orwell with it. So that's why we were like, oh, okay, this weather warfare thing actually makes sense for the World Series. We had some clues before then, but we nailed it. We nailed it. Actually, you know what? I was off one thing, though. I did think that World Series was going to end in Game 6. It ended up ending in Game 7. And Sports Illustrated wrote an article that day on their webpage saying some amateur numerologist on YouTube, whiffed because he thought it was going to end on Game 6. They didn't name me in it, but it was pretty obvious Sports Illustrated was writing about me. And anyway, but it was good because we had the right two teams in the World Series and who would win, and well before the playoffs started. So that was the 113th World Series. The 114th World Series was awesome because, again, we saw in July that it would make a lot of sense if Boston beat LA 99 days before the Super Bowl to conclude the 99th season and beat them 4-1 because that's the way it would have to work out. It was going to have to be Game 5 for that to work out, while Brady was 41 when Super Bowl's 41 and LA's 41, and that's exactly what happened. We saw that in July because we knew before that season began that the Super Bowl was going to be Boston, the Patriots, and the Los Angeles Rams. There were just so many clues with the 53, and Aaron Donald's Mr. 99 himself. And anyway, shout out to Rambo, too. I bet Rambo, I didn't talk to him about what he thought the Super Bowl was going to be, but I have a feeling that Rambo did the big thing on Jupiter and the Bengals and Burrow, and Jupiter's number's 99, so now you have the two 9 quarterbacks facing each other, plus Aaron Donald's 99. Anyway, that was the 114th World Series. 115th World Series, there's a guy in the world who bet $10, and he stuck it with a few other locks, and it turned into several $1,000s because the year of the 115th World Series, I can tell you exactly what happened and on what dates it happened. September 27th, Here, let me just show the box score to you. I know exactly what happened. The Nationals beat the Indians 3 games in a row to get into the World Series, and let me just show you how perfect this is. September 27, 2019, Nationals, Indians, box score. Okay, so this is the day the Jesuits, again, it's the Jesuits, this is the day they were recognized by Rome. And in this game, this was the 322nd game for the manager of the Nationals, Dave Martinez. And in this game, he stayed on 149 career losses. And let me close some windows because my computer is slowing down. Hold on. Let me just close a few windows here. Okay. So 322 is the number of skull and bones, which is modeled after the Knights Templar. The Templar crosses and the Jesuit logo. All these things are related. But when you write out skull and bones with just the alphabetic order, it's 149. So we said, how perfect is this? Dave Martinez can stay on 149 losses in his 322nd game. And because of that skull and bones ritual, we'd seen that the Astros were doing all this skull and bones stuff all year. And you have to remember, the Texas teams, the Rangers and Astros, both have connections to the Bush family. That season, we've been showing how Bush died November 30th, 2018. They were doing all this stuff with the Rangers and Astros and Bush's death, and we were documenting it all year. But then finally, we hadn't seen anything in the National League. But then we saw the way they scripted this game, and we said, this is it. This is the skull and bones ritual in the National League. And I was thinking that the Nationals would win a World Series in the time Donald Trump was president because, again, he kicked out the old guy for Inauguration Day and he got the Nationals announcer, Steve Ray. And if you look at the Nationals W, it's a clever 201. Look at the Nationals W and tell me you don't see the 201 in it, the Jesuit thing. But here's what's amazing. We were thinking about this. We did this all in real time before this game was played, and I said, hold on. Not only that, but they're doing it against the Cleveland Indians, and there's the rumor, if this is all true, you guys can look this up. There's a story that Prescott Bush, who was the senator, who's the father of George H.W. Bush, who was the grandfather of George W. Bush, there's a story that he stole Geronimo's skull for the Skull and Bones fraternity at Yale. And look at this. Geronimo, look at this. Look how amazing this is. Geronimo died on the 48th day of the year, February 17th, right? The 48th day of the year. September 27th, 2019 had 48 date numerology, and the Nationals in the game. Let me go to ESPN's page. This is going to be worth it. Because you guys got to see their home record. The Nationals picked up their 48th home win in this, but it's going to blow your mind. Just bear with me for a minute to show you this. I just got to go back to this date. Oh, come on, Zach. That's not what I want. ESPN.com/MLB. The nice thing about ESPN's stats is they have a calendar, and it makes it easy to flip through the years. You click on the calendar, and then you got to go back. So, hold on. We're almost there. Okay, September 27, 2019. That's one of the best riddles I ever saw. That's why I always remember it like it's the back of my hand. Okay, you see how the Nationals got their 48th win in this game? 48th home win? The next day, they picked up their 49th home win on the 49 date numerology, and then the next day, they picked up their 50th home win on the 50 date. But I'm going to show you more about the 48. But in light of picking up the 49 and the 50 on the 49 and 50 date, you see how Washington's 49 forwards, 50 in reverse? But hold up. Cleveland 48, right? Now look at this. Geronimo died on the 48th day of the year. And again, part of a Skull and Bones history. So if we measure from the day he died, February 17th, 2019, we're going back to that year, to the game on September 27th, 2019, it was a span, if you count the span here, it was a span of 223 days, which is the 48th prime number, okay? The 48th prime. And understand, when we saw this ritual, we said, put it in. Put it in for Game 7, Nationals over Astros, and the reason we knew Game 7 is because Game 7, look at this, Donald Trump 138, Game 7 was 138 days after Trump's birthday. And again, I had a hunch when Trump did the thing with the Nationals announcer that the Nationals would win the World Series while he was president. But not only is Donald Trump 138, when you run it in reverse, Nationals is 138, and their manager, Dave Martinez, his name is 138. For the record, Federal's also 138. So, anyhow, it was just the most amazing ritual. And with regards to 223, of course, it's the reflection of 322. And if you write out skull and crossbones, which is the true symbol for skull and bones, it's also 223. So anyway, people got super paid off understanding this, even though it was late in the year, because the Nationals at this point weren't even they had to win all their games to get into the World Series. So there was these huge odds for the Nationals to win the World Series alone. The Astros were a top team. And we were able to, remember the Nationals started, I think the Nationals were up, the Nationals took a 2-0 lead in the World Series. Then they lost 3 straight to the Astros, and the Astros went up 3-2. And then the Nationals paid 12-1 to come back. I told people, I said, man, this is another great opportunity because we know it. We think it's going to Game 7 and the Nationals are winning. And by the way, the reason we had the Nationals winning is because you see how Nationals is 57? When you write World Series, it's 57. And the Astros picked up their 57th postseason loss in the World Series. By the way, you see how World Series is 69 in reverse? Atlanta is 69, and this year the Astros picked up their 69th loss against Atlanta. That's how many losses they now have in the postseason, losing in the Hank Aaron World Series. So, okay, that was the 115th World Series. Okay, so we did well there. And I can't always call it from the beginning of the year, but you have to find the right amount of clues. And 116th World Series, we had that one dead on before the year began. Mookie Betts came over on 4-2, February 4th, from the Boston to the Dodgers in the Jackie ritual. And, God, I forget everything they did to this, but we just knew it was the Dodgers year. It was synced up with Kobe Bryant's death. I forget all there was to this. And the reason they played the Tampa Bay Rays in the 116th World Series, look at this. Tampa, Florida's 116. And Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., who came down to Tampa that year, and then Tampa won the Stanley Cup, went to the World Series, won the AL pennant, and then won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady comes to Tampa, and they just win everything. But Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. won 16 like Tampa, Florida. And so they're the ones that played the Dodgers in the 116th World Series. And in hindsight, to me, that felt like a big miss. We won because we had the Dodgers, but I should have saw that Tampa was the perfect team for them to play. So I didn't do that. I mean, we saw that it made sense once the postseason, but in hindsight, when I look at that, I'm like, why didn't I see that before the season began? We knew it was Dodgers. And then this year I had 4 teams before the season began that I thought could win the World Series. One of them was Atlanta, and it was the teams that had connections to 117. And Atlanta renamed their park Truist Park, and of course Hank Aaron died at the start of the year. But Truist Park, the renamed park, was 117. And if you missed my live call, the Braves won the World Series this year on the 47-year anniversary of the Braves letting go of Hank Aaron, who retired at age 42, and then Jorge Soler on the 42nd pitch of the game knocked it out of the park. Watch my video on the live call. I mean, I smelt that one coming a mile away. 42 in baseball. But Soler joined the Braves during the season. You see how Braves is 95? From the day that Soler joined the Braves to the day the Braves won the World Series was 95 days later. And they won it 95 days before Hank Aaron's upcoming birthday. And, of course, the Braves won the World Series in 95. And the Halloween game, on Halloween, the Halloween game was exactly 9,500 days after the Braves won the World Series in 95. And they lost on Halloween 9-5, and then they won the next game, winning the World Series on the anniversary of Hank Aaron's release. And so, again, I mean, that's baseball, right? We're just going through baseball. And let's switch over to basketball now. Let's go to the NBA Finals and remember memory lane here. So, NBA Finals history. Okay, the first time I ever put out a future for the NBA Finals was the first year that Curry and LeBron met. And everyone thought I was wrong that was leaving comments. Everyone thought it was Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls year, and that's all I heard about. It's not going to be them. It's Derrick Rose's year. Okay, let's see. And I'll go back and show you exactly how I saw this. You know, it was in February. But I was watching it, and you have to understand, these are the early days. I learned Gematria at the end of 2013. So, and at first I didn't realize that this is how they were scripting the sports games. But from learning the knowledge, I started to recognize, like, wow, the sports outcomes seem to be by the numbers. Holy smokes. Okay, there it is. Okay. So we got to go back to this season. I do believe it was February 13th, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Box score, February 13th, 2015. Let me see if it's the right game. Oh, whoops. Let's see. Did the Warriors and Cavs play this day? Here, maybe it wasn't February 13th. Maybe it was just in Lupercalia. Okay, it was February 26th. This is the game. So, let's go to this NBA Finals. I'm going to show you what I clued into here with this. Okay. Because, again, the way, it's not like I'm a psychic. I've just figured out by what they're doing in the games. Now, LeBron scored 42 in this game. Where's LeBron at? No? Wait a minute. Did they play? Hold on. Let me see what day the NBA Finals started. I'm having to go back here down memory lane. It's almost 7 years ago now. But I know what they did. I know what they did because the game was 98 days before the finals, and it went to overtime 98, and 98 is what I clued into because National Basketball Association's 98, and that's what LeBron's tattoo equals. It's tattooed on his back, chosen one. But, I'm trying to remember. All right, hold on. 2015 NBA Finals. We're going to backtrack 98 days from whatever the start date of this game was. Okay, June 4th was the first day of the finals. So what was 98 days before June 4th is the question. Because this is the day the Warriors and the Cavs played. June 4th, 2015. So it would have been like 3 months plus. So it should have been in February. Here, let's see. What was this? 104 days. So... was it February 28th? Or wait, no. Wrong way. Oh, no, I typed in the wrong thing. That's why. It was February 26th. Okay. February 26th. Wait a minute. All right, hold up. NBA box score. February 26th, 2015, Cavs Warriors. Could have sworn LeBron scored 42 in this game. Yeah, LeBron did score 42. How come when I just clicked on it, it said 36? I just read right there he scored 42. Okay, the reason that screwed me up is because I didn't see 42. 42 was the clue. Okay, so LeBron did score 42 in this game. And see, right there, I knew about Nate Thurmond because, my dad's a big sports fan. I grew up with my dad. I played sports all the time. My dad, one of his favorite players growing up, he liked the Iceman, George Gerving. He liked Nate Thurmond. These are his players. I knew that Nate Thurmond wore 42 for the Warriors and the Cavs. And I said, LeBron scored 42. I said, let me see how this game lines up. And remember, Steph Curry and LeBron are born in the same hospital in Akron. Nate Thurman's also from Akron. And I had this hunch looking at Nate Thurmond that he might be LeBron's father because they have the same damn hairline, similar body. But yeah, this game was 98 days before the finals. And if you look, this game went to overtime. Game one of the finals went to overtime 98-98. I remember it like it was yesterday because I was laughing my ass off because I'd put out a video like on February 26 or 27 saying, look at this. Look at this game and LeBron and 42. But National Basketball Association, 98. And we do talk about the 113. If you put a "the" in front of it, it's 113, which is also important. But just alone, National Basketball Association's 98. And LeBron's tattoo is Chosen One, which is 98. And then what blew my mind is when I learned reverse, I was like, wow, Chosen alone is 98. Okay. So we said this got to be it. LeBron scores 42, a number that connects both teams through Nate Thurmond, this great player for both franchises. We know what 42 is. Not to mention back then, I did not know the reverse ciphers back then. All I knew was this when that championship happened. So I was able to see enough. But LeBron James 42. So I knew that was a special number, 42. I mean, think about it. Just Jackie, everything. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the machine that calculates 42 is the meaning of life. So that's why I put it out. I said, I'm pretty sure this is the NBA Finals. And sure enough, they met. And I wasn't sure who was going to win this championship. The Warriors had the better team and they won. And the next year, I said, okay. I said they're going to rematch again next year. I forget everything there was about next year, but everyone knows. We had the rematch, and we had the Cavs winning on the real King James's birthday, June 19th, and everybody was making fun of me when the Cavs were down 3-1. Oh, what happened to LeBron winning? And I was like, well, I mean, it's not over yet. And remember, Cleveland, they put up the stat. They said that Cleveland was the 33rd team in NBA playoff history to be down 3-1, and no one in NBA playoff history to ever come back. I didn't even know reverse yet when that happened. I learned this probably about 3 months after that finals ended. But then I was like, look at that, man. In reverse, LeBron is 33, James is 33. Okay. But LeBron came back and he won on the real King James's birthday. And look at LeBron James's name. You see how it's 114? The real King James's birthday is June 19th, 619, right? And here, let me go to numberempire.com. If you write out 619, it's the 114th prime number, okay? And LeBron James equals 114, and they call him King James. And it's not only that, it's that the real King James had a son, King Charles, and the people who fought for King Charles in the English Civil War were called Cavaliers, you see? And now that we know reverse, I mean, you can call this a coincidence all you want, but, I mean, you should really think about it. The Jesuits run this world, and they got these guys born and bred to be. The Jesuit Order 201 and 84. LeBron James was born 201 days after the 84 NBA Finals ended. So, think about that one. Okay, but then the 117th World Series, the next year, we thought it was going to be... They kept calling LeBron the Godfather. If you remember, they were doing all this stuff calling him the Godfather, and the Godfather was a trilogy. So we said, okay, this is going to be part 3, Warriors and Cavs. And I did start off thinking early in the year that the Cavs would probably win, but then we figured out why the Warriors were going to win in the day they did, and we were dead on about that. And there's another clown out there, I didn't want to say his name, but he put out a video saying I was an idiot and I was wrong, and the Cavs were definitely going to win. And then he guaranteed that I'd be wrong about the Warriors winning on the date that I said they would, which they did. And he said it would be the end of Gematria. And the funny thing is, the only reason that guy even had a legacy is because he copied my Super Bowl 50 pick after I put it out. And what pissed me off is the author of the book, Field of Schemes, did an interview with him. I was like, why would you interview the guy who copied me? Come on. But the only reason that guy even ever had a following is because his Super Bowl 50 pick was correct that he put out after I did. So, anyway. Now, the next year, I didn't think the finals was going to be Warriors and Cavs again. And it ended up being Warriors and Cavs for the 4th time. But once that was set, we saw why the Warriors were taking that one as well. I forget, I'm forgetting now if it was the 3rd year or the 4th year where they swept them on June 8th, but you see how sweep is 68? One of the years the Cavs got swept, and it was, they swept them on 6-8. And basketball is also 68, and mathematics is 68. It was either the 3rd or 4th year. But, yeah, I wasn't right about my pick from the start of that year. I think I was thinking it was going to be Houston and LeBron instead of the Warriors and LeBron. And, here, let me see. But again, I mean, that's why people talk shit about the years I've been wrong. It's like, where's your fucking resume? You don't have jack shit that compares to what I've done. Not to mention, it's not just about being right about the games. The reason I started this work wasn't to be right about sports picks. That's not what I got into this for. I got into this work to show that a bunch of psychopaths rule over us, that they distract us with rig sports, and that they're killing people, they're lying to us, they're forcing agendas that aren't good for humanity. I mean, that's the reason I got into this work. But, and all of you guys who cheer against me and talk shit, it's like, well, whose side are you on? Are you on the side of the people fucking you and me? Because, I mean, I know unless you're one of these Jesuit clowns that runs the world, you're on the same team I am at the end of the day. At least you should realize that. But, here, let me think about some more NBA Finals history. Let me just see what we've done. I know last year that my main pick was wrong, but my backup teams were what the finals was. I thought the Suns would be in the Western Conference Finals and lose to the Lakers last year. Instead, they beat the LA Clippers, and I said if it wasn't Nets, it would be Bucks. But, here, hold on. Let me just go down memory lane and see what's what. Okay, the Warriors and the Raptors this year. Okay, so we had the 4 straight years of Warriors and Cavs. Now, this was the 73rd NBA season, the Warriors and the Raptors, and Steph Curry's born on the 73rd day of the year, and he set the win mark with 73 wins. I thought Curry was going to win the finals this year and be MVP, but the good news was we figured out why the Raptors were going to win in Game 6 before it happened. And shout out to Simple Truth TV. He had the observation first, and when I looked at his work, he's somebody who learned from me. When he had that observation, I looked at it and I said, damn, he's right, man. Because what we missed all that year was it was all about Drake. Drake's Scorpio album is what it was all about. Drake, Scorpio, release date. Because, again, Drake's the big Toronto guy. He calls Toronto the 6th. They won it in Game 6. They did it on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. But, okay, this album came out June 29th. Look at Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi went to Toronto that year. It came out on Kawhi's birthday, right? And the reason I also, once I saw it, I didn't flinch and knew it was right, is because Kawhi won us so much money that year in the playoffs. The prime number relationship with Kawhi's birthday is what the Raptors kept doing. Like when it was a prime distance day from his birthday, it was the number that was the win that Toronto could pick up for the season. It just went on and on and on. Remember how Kawhi hit the shot that Vince Carter couldn't, that bounced all over the rim? That was one of those prime number relationships. So anyway, I thought it was going to be Curry. To start the year, I thought Curry was going to win the MVP because he hadn't won a finals MVP. And, I thought he was going to do it in the 73rd season, being born on the 73rd day of the year. So it wasn't quite right. But, he was in the finals. And I wasn't sure about who he was going to play. I know I didn't have the Raptors, though, at the start of the year. But, you know what? When we realized it was the Raptors, I was like, God, it was all there. Because Steph Curry, he met his wife in Toronto. His wife's from Toronto. And his dad, of course, Del Curry, used to play for the Raptors. So it was a big family affair. And again, Mary J. Blige, 102, performing at the Super Bowl to conclude the 102nd season. She's going to do Family Affair. That was her big song. Dr. Dre did the beat. But, and again, it's a family affair in the NFL. This whole Super Bowl in the year of the Tiger 76, it's 76 days after Joe Burrow's dad's birthday. Joe Burrow's dad played in 54 professional games, 3 in the NFL, 51 in the CFL. And Cincinnati's 51. They won 51 combined points today. But, Mr. Tiger, year of the Tiger, synced up with Daddy. And Cooper Kupp, the little white guy that somehow burns every black safety in the league, just wide open all the time, who has he's from a family of 1 million people that have played in the NFL. It's a family affair. Steph Curry, LeBron, Nate Thurman, it's a family affair. Anyway, last year, a dead-on prediction, just another dead-on prediction. LeBron leaves the 17th state, Ohio. He goes to the Lakers on July 1st, 1/7 on the $153 million contract. That's the 17th triangular number. For the record, Cavaliers, also 153. So is Jesuit Order. But LeBron goes to the Lakers in the Super 17 ritual. I told you the day he went there, I said in his 17th season, he will win the Lakers the NBA Finals. And he did. And he did it exactly 41 weeks after Kobe died at age 41 when LA and Kobe Bryant are 41. And that was only... And let's not forget, man, he won it on Father-Daughter Day. Who even knew there was a Father-Daughter Day before that day? I couldn't... But when we saw that, we said, we were like, oh my God, Father-Daughter Day 41 weeks after Kobe's death? Oh my God. And don't forget, Kobe's daughter died at 13. LA is 13 and 41, right? 13 and 41. So, some rituals are just too, because the thing is, the NBA is a big 17 league, a lot of 17 rituals. So the Lakers tied the Celtics, and I wasn't sure who the Lakers were going to beat that year. They ended up playing the Miami Heat, and here's why. Miami Heat's 56. It was the coronavirus season. Coronavirus 56. They called it the NBA Bubble 56. That's another Society of Jesus number, 56. My favorite riddle in the NBA Bubble, I'll never forget it. The Utah Jazz were huge underdogs. Huge underdogs. It was a game where if you bet 100, they paid $350 to win, but we knew that they were going to win it. I mean, we just felt it was like the most confident you ever felt about a significant underdog because it was 56 days after Rudy Gobert's birthday. Again, the Jesuits are from Paris, France, like he's from France. But the Jazz got to 5-6 in the NBA bubble, 56 days after Rudy Gobert's birthday, and Rudy Gobert, who's rarely ever the leading scorer, was the leading scorer by a lot in that game. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. Now, the last year's finals, it wasn't too bad. I did think it was going to be Lakers and Nets at the start of the year because I thought LeBron was going to get to 5 and 6 in the finals. By the way, LeBron got to 4 and 6 right before Joe Biden became number 46. Sports and news, and that was one of the things we were talking about before it happened. We were just saying how those things went together. But I did think that the finals last year was going to be Lakers and Nets because the Nets play in the 56 building, and it just seemed like one of those. I guess it was too obvious. Maybe there was too. Maybe they might have done it, but there was too much money. I don't know. But I did think that the Lakers were. I thought the Phoenix Suns were going to have a great year. I thought they'd be in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, and I thought if it wasn't the Nets, it would be the Bucks. So, I mean, it wasn't too bad. People are expecting flawless, but it wasn't too bad. So we've done the MLB, we've done the NBA. Let's do the NFL. Here, let's talk about this article right here. Hold on, let me close some windows. I think my computer's getting exhausted. I spend way too much time in front of the computer, all the research and writing and shit, but computer's feeling a little bit tired here. Hold on, we're closing some windows. Hold on. We got to go back to this hate piece. USA Today, big lead, Zachary K. Hubbard. Again, this is what brought up 2016. If you weren't here in 2016, 2016 was my year. It was the year of years because we called Prince's death before it happened. We called every sports championship correct from the start of the year. And USA Today wrote an article about me, and it brought a lot of new people to my work. Because the original article even had my video linked, but since the channel's been deleted, they updated the post, and now it doesn't have all that. Did they get rid of the article? How come it's not loading? Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. So this was written over 6 years ago now. January 27, 2016. Conspiracy theorist proves, this is a lot like the Vice news article that was written the next year about me, and realize they stopped talking about me. I think it's because they brought a lot of people my way. And if you guys weren't here years ago, I used to get big views. Now I don't get jack shit for views, thanks to YouTube censorship. But conspiracy theorist proves Freemasons rigged AFC and NFC championship games. And by the way, the first 5 years I was here, I was putting all this information out for free. I didn't charge anything. I didn't make any money. And that's probably a big mistake. I probably could have made $1 million back then off Google ads and, the fact that tons of, my videos I had several videos that had 500,000 views, a couple that touched 1 million. Now it's like, if I can get 10,000 views, I feel like somebody finally saw it. But anyway, this guy writes this article. Oh, you know how in the last article that I showed you, Vice News, I said I was going to show you why why they chose Sean Newell to write the hit piece? His name equaled 52, like how he was making fun of me for all the 52 stuff. But okay, this guy writes, by the way, shout out to Jeremy White, who's been here helping out the community forever. Jeremy White's one of the people that got on board with the work, has been helping out ever since. He pounded pavement with me down in Louisiana, drove his big old truck out from Texas to help me out. And it's because he won a whole bunch of money off Super Bowl 50. In October of this season, I said why the Broncos were going to beat the Carolina Black Panthers in the Huey P. Newton Super Bowl in some black ritualistic shaming. And that was the year of, Black Lives Matter and Hands Up, Don't Shoot and all this stuff going on. Again, Cam Newton, Huey P. Newton, the founder of the Black Panthers in the Bay Area where Super Bowl 50 was. For the record, Huey P. Newton equals 58. Cam Newton became the 58th quarterback to start in a Super Bowl. But this guy writes, folks, I just went down a rabbit hole so deep I don't know if I'll ever find my way out. I swallowed the red pill and I am stuck wondering why, oh, why didn't I take the blue pill? Matrix reference. A man calling himself, I love how they did that in both of them. That is my name, you guys. My name is Zachary Keefe, not Keith, Keefe Hubbard. But a man calling himself Zachary K. Hubbard, if that is his real name, put together 4 videos, each lasting... Back then, because my channel had strikes on it, I was only allowed to make 15-minute videos. So my hour presentation was broken into 4 15-minute videos, each lasting almost 15 minutes in order to explain how the Freemasons rigged both the AFC and NFC championship games using numbers related to Gematria, which is apparently something that exists. Hubbard goes through a dizzying explanation of how everything in both games was a farce with a completely scripted outcome. By the way, he changed his opinion that the fix was in and the Patriots were the team that was going to benefit from the Freemasons' nefarious ways. That's actually a bullshit statement. What I said in the video is I said, okay, everybody's in my ear saying the Broncos have no way to beat the Patriots. My dad thinks it's a joke. My dad thinks there's no way that Peyton Manning's going to beat Tom Brady and the Patriots. I said, if you guys feel that way and you're riding on this Super Bowl that I've been saying, Broncos and Panthers with Manning riding off in the sunset, if you don't think it's going to happen and you've gotten this far and you have your doubts, I said, go ahead and hedge with the Patriots. You know, that's what I said. I didn't say that it wasn't going to happen. So his sentence is bullshit. It's just everybody was in my ear saying it was impossible, and my dad was just like, there's no way, Zach, you're going to look like a fool. It's not going to happen. I was like, I think it is. I think it is. But since we were in the driver's seat, I told people to hedge. So this guy writes, by the way, he changed his opinion. That's a bullshit statement. By the way, he changed his opinion that the fix was in and the Patriots were the team that was going to benefit from the Freemasons' nefarious ways. He now realizes it was Barzini, the Broncos, all along. He just needed to recalibrate some numbers that were staring him in the face. And again, tons of people made a ton of money off the Broncos over Panthers pick in October. Yeah, you can laugh all you want, but Hubbard's brand of crazy is thoroughly convincing. Obviously, the Freemasons are in control of everything. We all know they are trying to start a massive race war. Why else would the white Bronco be facing the Black Panthers in the biggest sporting event of the year? Pull the wool from your eyes, sheeple. And have they not really tried to start a race war bigger and bigger since then? I mean, that's one of the things I started making videos about, what they were doing with Black Lives Matter. If you guys don't know this about Michael Brown, the supposed Michael Brown, by the way, equals 201 like the Jesuit order. They got their university down there in St. Louis. But, again, Ferguson's right next to St. Louis. But I used to have it on my channel before it was deleted. Michael Brown, the supposed Michael Brown shooting, you could see that it was a plastic dummy, and the proof that it was a plastic dummy is after the police stood in a circle around the body for hours, and it's like, what the fuck are they doing? Since when do police just stand in a human circle of nonstop bodies around? I mean, just when? It's a ritual. But when it was all done, they took the plastic dummy and they opened up the back of a police SUV and just put the body in the back of a police SUV. Since when do dead bodies get taken away in police SUVs? And by the way, look up how there's now a Michael Brown exhibit in Chicago on 47th Street at a museum, and it's a plastic replica of him. I bet you it's the same plastic dummy they had in the street of Ferguson that day. But anyway, all 4 videos are, see, he used to have all the videos posted below, but they deleted the channel, so it's not there. So he writes, Video 1, the matchup of the white Broncos and the Black Panthers clearly reflects what's going on in the world. Sports and the news media are rigged. Hubbard proves that all scores, broadcasts, and points in a game are all carefully coordinated and scripted. On February 2nd, the 33rd day of the year, the People vs. O.J. Simpson debuts, and the main object in the ads for that show is a white Ford Bronco. And again, this is why I was saying they were going to do this Super Bowl. Because O.J. Simpson, the football player in the white Bronco, racism, right? Black shaming. And then Huey P. Newton died the same year Cam Newton was born. And I didn't know this at the time, but you can look this up. I didn't know reverse gematria, but check this out. This is what's amazing about Huey P. Newton and Cam Newton being born and dying in the same year. Remember, back when I started, I only knew the 2 ciphers on the left. And the cipher I looked at the most was the dark blue one, where Huey P. Newton's 58, like Cam Newton became the 58th quarterback. But I didn't know that in reverse, Huey P. Newton was 131 and 41, like Super Bowl. And by the way, Stafford went to the Rams last year on January 31st. So they were signaling their damn Super Bowl number with Stafford all along, but I was doubting it. I really didn't think they were going to do back-to-back years of the hosting team being in it. And probably most gamblers didn't either, so it was a good little ploy they had going. Don't forget Odell Beckham's name equals 56. He's born on the day, leaving 56 days left in the year, and he got sent to the Rams from Cleveland when the Rams used to be in Cleveland on that day, so I guess that was a clue they were going to 56. Showtime Odell. But anyway, Huey P. Newton in reverse is 131. Cam Newton was born on the 131st day of the year, which I did talk about at the time because I knew forwards that Super Bowl's 131, but I didn't know about the Huey P. Newton thing. Huey P. Newton died the same year Cam Newton was born on the day leaving 131 days left in the year. Think about how messed up that is. Again, that just goes to show these guys are born and bred to be. Obviously, they knew Cam Newton had these amazing genetics to grow up to be this big, massive man. And again, you train him to be a football player. And don't forget, we also had Von Miller in October. It's not just that we had the Broncos over the Panthers. In October, I said why Von Miller was going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl, number 58. He was drafted one pick after Cam Newton. And I also said there'd be a Black Panther tribute at halftime. Beyonce got criticized as dressing up as a Black Panther. She was the halftime performer. But, so anyway, just going back over everything he wrote. Video 2. The Panthers went for 2 late in the game to give them 42 points, and the reason was completely racist. Do you guys know that Patrick Mahomes' dad had 42 career wins as a baseball player? Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowl 54, winning it, had 42 pass attempts. This year he won his first 2 games with 42 points before he just lost to the Bengals. And a million more examples. Did you just see what I documented 2 weeks ago on GematriaEffectNews? All the black people that got killed and shamed in connection to 42, which is just an ongoing pattern of something I've been talking about for 8 years straight. Michael Brown, that put out the first image of the cop who killed him in Ferguson equals 42, Missouri 42, and he has a big 42 on his shirt. Darren Wilson, St. Louis Blues 42 on his shirt. I mean, there's just a gazillion examples. But the Panthers went for 2 late in the game to give them 42 points, and the reason was completely racist. I'll let him explain it, but the gist is that the Freemasons want to start a race war. That's why the Panthers have a black quarterback, and that's also why some high school students in Arizona wore these shirts on Friday. Hold on. What did he link? I can't remember what this is. Arizona also equals 42, but I didn't know this back then. Oh, shit, the page isn't found. The movie Jerry Maguire foreshadowed this entire postseason and all of this way back in 1996. The divisors of 42 equate with 96. So, I mean, was I wrong? I mean, these are all the things we used to pick the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning's Omaha chant is directly tied to an animal feed plant explosion in Omaha. Remember that? When the Omaha plant blew up in the playoffs, when there was the Omaha content with Peyton Manning? I mean, this is the kind of stuff they do every year. He writes, Bill Belichick opted against kicking a field goal on a late 4th down play solely because it wouldn't have lined up with the script. Had the Patriots kicked the field goal, the total score couldn't have added up to 38. I was saying it needed to be 38 because Panthers is 38. Gold is 38. The 49ers were hosting the golden anniversary of the Super Bowl on the 38th day of the year. Colorado, the 38th state, won that Super Bowl. Colorado equals 38. Did you see Robbie Gould kick the 38-yarder tonight to make it 10-7? Here, I got to show you guys something real quick. Do you see how Gold is 16 in reverse? Like the 49ers beat the Bengals in Super Bowl 16? I want you to see something. Super Bowl 16 date. I couldn't have showed you all this back when I first started. Super Bowl 16 was January 24th, 1982. Okay? What day did the gold rush start in history? It started January 24th, 1848. You might be like, wait, I thought it'd be 49. The gold rush got way more popular the next year in 49, but its official start date is January 24th, 1848. That means Super Bowl 16 was on the 134-year anniversary. And look at this. When I read out Vesica Pisces, which is the spiritual shape, the spiritual name for the shape of the football is a Vesica Pisces. It's a term from sacred geometry. Vesica Pisces is 134. Super Bowl 16 was on the 134th anniversary. It was on 24/1, like 241 the 53rd prime. Just for this past week, there were 2 celebrities who died on that day, supposedly from COVID. COVID's 53. One of them dropped dead at age 53 on 24/1. So I'm just showing you how the same, again, gematria, knowing what's behind the numbers, understanding the rituals. Anyway, Vesica Pisces, 134-year anniversary. 24/1, like 241 the 53rd prime, and 82, the year out of that Super Bowl. You know what I mean? You think that's a coincidence? Or do you think it's like what I'm saying? That when you have the right clues from history, you can see what the ritual is. And again, I understand why this year's Super Bowl is all about Billy Cannon and Joe Burrow. I mean, I get it. It's just, it would have made sense if it was Joe Burrow versus the 49ers too. And I really did like it better. You win some, you lose some. But the thing is, we've won way more. We're playing with house money in a big way over here. So all my haters, again, kick rocks. Coming back to the article. And again, I was just showing you, gold. In the most simple cipher, 38. The golden anniversary of the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 50, was hosted by San Francisco. And again, it was Super Bowl 50. San Francisco's 50. They hosted Super Bowl 50. They were once 5-0 in Super Bowls before they lost the Harbaugh Bowl. And then we knew that they were falling to 5-2 in the Joe Montana Bowl. And they just sniffed Super Bowl 56. Montana was born in 56, and it would have been the 52nd Super Bowl in the modern era. My heart's a little bit broken. Anyway, 6:45, he says, somehow Owen Daniels is a key part of this. You'd have to go back and watch the video. Was Owen Daniels Peyton Manning's tight end at the time? I still remember it was Peyton Manning's 18th season that he won the Super Bowl in. He wears number 18, the Jesuit. Oh, you know what? Now that I understand more about this shit, IHS is 18 forwards and backwards, and sun is 18, and in alchemy, the sun is gold. So now I kind of get the joke of him winning the golden anniversary in his 18th season. These are things I couldn't have told you back then. I understood enough to see the Super Bowl, but the more I learn, the more I understand. Okay, then he writes, both of Tom Brady's interceptions were clearly on purpose. I'm sure they were. I mean, you can just see. And isn't the NFL a joke? I mean, did you see the 49er drop the interception in the fourth quarter? Like, what? I mean, here, just to make a point, you guys, you can make fun of me all you want, but your boy has a good arm. God, Jimmy Garoppolo. My dad stopped watching the 49ers because he can't stand watching Jimmy Garoppolo. My dad goes, God, he can't hit a target to save his life. His ball's always off the mark. And he's right. It's like Jimmy can't put the ball on the spot. What's wrong with you, Jimmy? Jimmy doesn't see the field. He had a receiver wide open to the right, no one even guarding him. He throws it into coverage and it gets deflected to the left side of the field. It's like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? But here's the point I'm going to make. I can throw the ball to the spot all day. I can't bomb. The furthest I could throw a ball in my prime, I injured my shoulder by the way, if I hadn't injured my shoulder, I might have never figured out this work, because when I got injured, I started reading more, and I started trying to figure some things out. It was in the time I was injured that I found Gematria. I got injured right before my 30th birthday in July of 2013. By August of 2013, nursing up from my injury, I couldn't go to the gym. I wasn't playing sports. Back then, I used to always play softball, flag football, hoops at the gym. I was always playing sports. But I got injured, and I couldn't. But the thing is, I never had like a super cannon. The furthest I could ever throw the ball down the field was 50 yards, but I could throw it down the field to the spot on 50 yards. But these guys that throw the ball in the NFL 70 yards, I could never do that. Anyway, I could throw it a million times more accurate than Jimmy G, I'll tell you that much. My God, he makes me sick. But anyway, the point is, that if you know how to play these games and you're an athlete yourself, there's just shit that's... Here's what I was going to say. For a younger part of my life, I worked at a group home, and one of the programs there was... one of the programs in the group home was... It was on the floor above us. Illegal immigrant children were kept at this place. And what I noticed about the illegal immigrant children is, man, they had a great work ethic. They did all their chores. They were happy to do their chores. They're painting the building. They're fixing the fence. And they liked it there. They didn't try to run away, They got fed, and we went to the park and played games. But the point is, they're used to playing international football with their feet. That's what they like to do when they went to the park. But once I started working there, I wanted them to play football, so I was teaching them football. These guys never caught footballs in their life, but the point is, I throw them the ball, they never caught a football in their life, they catch the ball, right? Like how easy the catch was tonight for the 49ers safety. And he just totally whiffs it. It's just the point I'm making is these Mexican illegal immigrant kids who I can't even speak English to, all of them would have caught that damn ball. Guy getting paid $10 million a year can't catch the ball? Give me a break. I'm pretty sure my mom would have caught the ball. My mom's out there watching. I definitely would have caught the ball. I would have jumped up. My mom's got the greatest sports stories from when she was younger. But anyway, it's just sickening watching these pro athletes just do the shit they do on the field, and people think it's real. There's no way you get paid $10 million to play football and you can't catch that. It was the easiest catch in the history of the world. Okay. So that's why for these people to be like, oh, yeah, I'm sure Tom Brady threw it on. It's just so obvious. Do you remember when the Saints won their only Super Bowl? I didn't know Gematria back then, but the Saints win their only Super Bowl over, and again, it's Archie Manning's team, and they win it over his son, Peyton Manning. It's a family affair. I still remember Peyton just lofting the ball right back to the secondary for the Saints. It's like, come on, man. Okay, then he makes fun of me. None of this is arbitrary, truth seeker. And everything I said tonight, none of it's arbitrary. Okay. Oh, video 4. Archie Manning's age should have been an obvious clue. How did we all miss that? I wish I could go back and watch my video. It's been deleted. Clearly, Archie Manning's age was synced up with the Super Bowl. I guarantee it was. Of course, as we all know, Tom Brady and the Patriots were the biggest beneficiaries of the Patriot Act. As Hubbard says, so contrived I saw through it as an 18-year-old, and I sure did. I was 18 when 9/11 and the Patriots happened. It was a complete joke. So then he writes, once you look at all the facts, everything falls into place. Although I do have one beef with Hubbard, well, one beef other than the fact that he believes the Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax and about 47,000 other vile things. Hey, if you're out there, asshole, get back to, hey, could you do a follow-up article on this one right here? I'd love to hear the feedback on this one right here. Let me look up the old Patrick Dragon. Back in the year of the Dragon, the Sandy Hook shooting happened. Now we're in the year of the Tiger, and Joe Burrow, the Tigers, in the Super Bowl. Well, it starts February 1st, technically. And by the way, before the season began, I told my people I expect Joe Burrow to lead the Bengals to the playoffs and have a great season. And then I thought next year, which was completely in the year of the Tiger, was going to be maybe the year that he went to the Super Bowl. But that's why in the playoffs I started to think, I said, man, I told people before the divisional round that I thought the Super Bowl actually might be Joe Burrow versus the 49ers. That ends up being Joe Burrow versus the Rams. Damn. But anyway, because we were like, well, I guess he could be in the Super Bowl since the year of Tiger. But anyway, with regards to Sandy Hook, look at this story. This is a year ago. A first responder to Sandy Hook shootings has died of COVID-19. Now look at this. You see how he poses next to the license plate and all you can see is the 56? Let's see how this comes together. The shooter for Sandy Hook was Adam Peter Lanza, whose name is 56 forwards and 79 in verse like Society of Jesus. That's the Jesuits. And by the way, even though he's only talking about like what I said about the Freemasons, I've always explained it's Freemasons and Jesuits the whole time I've been here. But notice, Sandy Hook was established in 56, and the shooting was in 2012, 56 days later. Let's not forget that it happened in Connecticut, where Ray Allen played at UConn. This year on the anniversary of Sandy Hook, Steph Curry passes Ray Allen in three-pointers made, a different type of shots. And the year before that, it was the first COVID-19 shot for Sandra Lindsay, the first one in the nation, another Sandy. But with regards to him dying from COVID, COVID vaccine, coronavirus, Society of Jesus, it's all 56. So you mean to tell me, that this is all just a coincidence? You're not being mocked? Patrick Dragon, what kind of name is that? Have you ever met anybody in your life who has the last name Dragon? I mean, not even Bruce Lee in an action film. Oh my God. So anyway, and I love how he threw the 47,000 in there because I always educate about 47. Yeah, you can see here. Let me make myself big again. Look at the license plate in the background. I've been talking about 47 like a broken record for almost 9 years straight. See the license plate in the background? What is 47? It's not a real license plate, but and somebody sent that to me because I educate so much about 47. They thought that was the perfect gift for me. Anyway, that's for Super Bowl 50. Okay, let's do the other Super Bowls. Now, Super Bowl 51, I had some struggles with Super Bowl 51, no doubt about it. But I did see in week one was the week Jimmy played the Cardinals, and he was starting for Brady because Brady was out with the Deflategate scandal, which was a big 35 ritual, like right now how he's stuck on 35 playoff wins and Tom Brady's 35. But, okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. But by the way, even though the first big future for the work was Super Bowl 50, the Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl, I was aware of Gematria, and I said Tom Brady will become 4-2 in this Super Bowl, defeating the Seahawks from the 42nd state. And you know what else was in that I didn't see back then because I didn't know reverse Gematria? It's that the game was in Arizona, which equals 42 as well. So that was had I known reverse, it would have been helpful. I'd been like, well, there's another 42 and reason for him to become 4-2. And Super Bowl 48, that was the Seahawks over the Broncos. The Broncos are favored, and I said all day the Seahawks are winning that. It was actually synced up with an old Simpsons cartoon where Homer Simpson bets on a Broncos-Seahawks game and bets on the wrong team. He bet on the favorite that was supposed to win it, and they lost. But the thing about that I also didn't know back then because I didn't know reverse, that was the 94th NFL season in Seattle, Washington's 94. And Russell Wilson's grandpa died at 94 after that Super Bowl. And the score of that game was 43-8. Seattle Seahawks is 43 in the most pure, which I laughed about at the score. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Colorado's 43, so is football. And what's the other thing that I meant to say? Oh, I also didn't see this at the time, but looking in hindsight, I see why the Seahawks were in Super Bowl 48, because Seahawks is 48 in reverse. But we had the Seahawks to win that one, and we were talking back then. We were looking at the Simpsons cartoon, and there was a few other things. Now Super Bowl 51, before that season began. Again, I started off on the right foot. My initial future for Super Bowl 51 was I saw the picture in the NFC. It was the first Super Bowl on a 44-date numerology, and I'd noticed a history of rituals with Wisconsin 44 and Georgia 44. And now we have the Georgia product in the first Super Bowl on the 44th day of the year. But anyway, I initially said the NFC Championship will be the Packers and the Falcons. And it ended up being that, and the Falcons won with 44 points. And I said if the Falcons did win that matchup, again, the Super Bowl is on February 5th, 2-5, and Falcons would fit in there. So that was my thought. But then the Hall of Fame game came, and I always forget his name. The Giants running back died, and he played in the greatest game ever played, which was between the Giants and the Colts. And Lindy Maury had just died, the coach of the Colts and the Packers. So I was like, there were these deaths, and then they connected, to the Packers and Colts, and the Falcons had a narrative. But then the Giants guy died, and then I was like, well, Giants got the 25 as well. And just at the time, if you recall, they were hyping Andrew Luck so much. They were calling him the greatest college quarterback ever. And I was thinking okay, maybe this is Andrew Luck's year. Maybe it's a rematch of the greatest game ever played. So that's what I ended up saying I thought was the most likely Super Bowl. I said, I think it's the Colts and the Giants. I think this is Luck's year. And Luck ended up losing the week 1 game. I forget who he played. It might have been the Giants. But it was one of those games where he had the lead, and then whoever he lost to went the length of the field in 40 seconds and won the game. I was like, what the hell, man? Come on. And I knew that felt wrong. And then Jimmy Garoppolo and the Patriots were 13.5-point underdogs in the primetime game with Brady out. The Patriots were 13.5-point underdogs despite winning the Super Bowl the year before with Garoppolo in. And we saw Garoppolo and the Patriots had the perfect riddle to win. So we won big that night on that game. But there were some things done in that game. And I said, you know what? I said, man, I see some Super Bowl numbers in this ritual. Maybe it's the Patriots again. And I told people, I said, if you took my future advice on the Colts, I said, you might want to hedge with the Patriots right now. And it did end up being the Patriots and the Falcons. And, that year was a little bit of a struggle. But the next year we killed it because Brady had 93 offensive plays in Super Bowl 51, and by the way, we said once the Super Bowl was set, I guaranteed that Brady was going to win and get to 5-2 on the date that could be written 5/2, and I said this game will probably have a lot to do with 25 because it's the 97th season, 97's the 25th prime, the game's on 2-5, the Falcons are in it, and they moved the touchback to 25 yards. Well, again, I always hate that they deleted my channel because I would just love to go back right now and say, let's go back and look at the video where I guaranteed the Patriots are going to win and see how much hate mail I got. Because that was another video that got over 500,000 views, and it had 20-some thousand comments. And if you go back and look, you can't anymore because the video's been deleted. But it literally had 10,000 comments during the game talking all kinds of shit to me. You're a fucking retard. Take your meds. This game's a blowout. Nice guarantee, dumbass. And, what happened? Did Brady win? He sure did win, and he came back from 25 points. And he got to 5-2 in Super Bowls on 5-2. And not to mention Bill Belichick equals 97. And if I'm not mistaken, Bill Belichick was born in 52? Let me double check that on Bill Belichick. But Bill Belichick, born in 52, yeah. So that was one of the things we were looking at back then. And again, his name's 97 when you write out Bill Belichick like it was the 97th season. But that was Super Bowl 51, so we had the outcome right. In all the years that I've been doing this, the only time I got the outcome of the Super Bowl wrong was a very lucrative year for us. But it was the year of the Eagles beating the Patriots. And again, Brady had 93 offensive plays in Super Bowl 51. Minneapolis, Minnesota equals 93. It's on the 93rd Meridian West. And we said Brady will be in the Super Bowl in Minnesota. Plus, Brady has family from Minnesota, supposedly. But we were looking for the NFC team. And then on September 23rd, I remember it like it was yesterday. September 23rd, Donald Trump takes on the NFL flag protesters. And I said, there it is. I said, that's the Super Bowl right there. Donald Trump, he just gave us the Super Bowl. 23/9, like 239, the 52nd prime. It's the year of Super Bowl 52. The flag was sewn in Philly at 239 Arch Street. The Patriots with the flag on the helmet versus Philly, the home of the flag. And we said Philadelphia would start the year 10-1 because Philadelphia equals 101. They did. In that path to getting to 10-1, there was a game where if you bet $100 on it, it paid $650. It was a game against the Rams. It might have actually not been in the 10-1. It might have been after they got to 10-1. I can't remember for sure now. It might have been in the 10-1 streak, or it might have been after. But there was a game in LA against the Rams, who were huge favorites against the Eagles. And if you bet 100, it paid $650. And we were so sold that the Eagles were going to win that game. And they did. And it was a beautiful thing. And we crushed the playoffs that year. And the reason I thought Brady was going to win is because he could have become 6-2 in Super Bowls. Minneapolis is 62. And he was the passing leader. He beat Phillip Rivers that year. Phillip Rivers was number 2 in passing yardage. He beat Phillip Rivers by 62 yards. There was like 1,062 rituals with Tom Brady that year. So I thought he was getting to 6-2 in Super Bowls in Minneapolis. But I did tell people to hedge with the Eagles because I said I see one narrative for the Eagles to upset. I favored the Patriots for sure. But I said the Eagles' narrative to win, I said if they win, you watch. Zach Ertz will score the winning touchdown, number 86 days after his birthday, because that season was about the flag and the national anthem, which is from Philly, and the national anthem was adopted 86 years before that season. And that's what happened. Zach Ertz scored the winning touchdown, and the Eagles beat the Patriots. So the next year was Super Bowl 53. You know, we didn't flinch. I guess, okay, I might have had a tiny flinch late in the season. Again, the biggest win, I don't know for sure what the biggest win is in this community, but the biggest win I'm aware of in terms of how much money somebody made off a Super Bowl was the Eagles-Patriots. Shout out to the man who's already rich, who owns multiple dental practices, and I won't even say what city, but a dentist who's already well-to-do. He put down a decent-sized bet on the Patriots to beat the Rams because he saw we were locked in. You know, again, both teams equal 53. Patriots 53, Los Angeles 53. 53 is the 16th prime. There were only 16 points scored in that Super Bowl. GOAT 16. Brady tied the GOAT Jordan. But by the way, that was the 99th NFL season. The Patriots came into that season with 523 franchise wins, the 99th prime. New England equals 99. Aaron Donald's birthday is May 23rd, 523, the 99th prime. Aaron Donald equals 99. He wears number 99. But, yeah, a gentleman won over $350,000 off that Super Bowl with that pick. And a lot of people made a ton of money because they hedged, or not hedged, they parlayed the World Series and the Super Bowl that we saw were all synced up, and we're probably both going to be Boston, LA. And one of the early clues before either of that happened is that year on Pardon the Interruption, there was a big theme that year with Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith going back and forth over what was the best sports city, Boston or LA. So they were, you guys, when you pay attention, it helps. Because then I was like, all this Boston and LA talk. Wait a minute, look at how the World Series and the Super Bowl could work out in the 53s. And by the way, for another 53, here's another one. Boston Red Sox 53. You see how that goes? You see, that's how we saw it all, how it all just came together. Boston Red Sox 53, Patriots 53, Los Angeles 53. I mean, it just all made too much sense. It was all too perfect. And that's why I'm pretty sure if you go back and look, you'll see that Chris Sale, number 41, got the... I did predict months in advance that he was going to get the win for that game, but instead he got the save. Whatever. Not that far off. Anyway. Okay. So Super Bowl 54. Now, we said that Patrick Mahomes was going to win the Super Bowl before the season was going to begin, and I did have to... I think I had 5 different picks for who he was going to beat. But we did see in Week 3... that it would make sense if the Chiefs beat the 49ers. And that's, when I look back at that, I feel like I screwed up that year because I feel like I should have been a lot more solid on the Joe Montana Bowl. Joe Montana 54 is 2 teams playing against each other. But what we saw in Week 3, again, you can go back and look, Week 3, remember it like it was yesterday, September 22nd was the date of the game. It was the 49ers and the Steelers. And Super Bowl 54 was the 50th of the modern era. You see how Chiefs is 50, Pittsburgh's 50, San Francisco's 50. Shout out to Bobby Simpson. It was Bobby Simpson who actually, and that's the thing about putting out your work and building up a community and getting feedback from other people who are good at decoding. Bobby Simpson was actually the person who saw this. So the credit's really to him. But Bobby Simpson goes, look at this. If the 49ers beat the Steelers on 22/9, they'll get their 229th regular season home win in franchise history. That's the 50th prime number. And when that happened, I was like, man, that is a serious ritual right there. That is a huge ritual. And we knew Super Bowl 54 is the 50th of the modern era. So I did tell people, I said, I'd put in a future for the 49ers and Chiefs. We already had like some other ones that we were thinking about with the Chiefs. But, and again, I think we had like 5 teams, the 49ers and Chiefs. Oh, and I was going to say, if I did flinch at all in Super Bowl 53, it was late in the season, and somebody made a good observation about the Saints. And I was like, well, I said, I guess you could put down a future for Patriots and Saints in case it's not Patriots and Rams. But we really like the Patriots-Rams thing because the Saints didn't have the 53 connection. I forget what it was. It was an observation in the community that made some sense. But still, I mean, had you did an insurance bet, you still came way ahead if you put down the future at the start of the year for Patriots and Rams. And again, for all the people who think like hedging is dumb, I mean, you don't know anything about anything. Listen to any wealthy person who's made their money in the stock market. They all say that you have to hedge your bets. Every smart person knows that. Hedging your bets is an intelligent thing. And that's why the people who make fun of the work, like, who's intelligent that makes fun of my work? I mean, you got to be fucking retarded. Anyway, Super Bowl 54, we had the right winner before the season began. It just took a few different parlay tries to get the right outcome. And it doesn't matter because, I mean, if you put down a parlay for Chiefs over 49ers in week 3, I mean, it came way out ahead, and your other bets that you lost on, I mean, you still made way more money. So, and then you guys know what we did last year. Last year we saw it. And last year the reason we knew, okay. I did think that Mahomes was going to go to 3 straight Super Bowls. I did, after Kobe died. And I've been talking about that. And that's why I had the Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year, because that was going to be the second in a row. And obviously, he's not going to 3 straight. So, I mean, that's wrong. But I did see before it happened why it might be Burrow instead. And that's why I told my community to hedge with Burrow and the Bengals, because we saw the year of the Tiger. And again, I mean, so anyway, I protected my community and I gave them winning advice. So it's not all bad. But anyway, I did think that the Chiefs were going to go to 3 straight Super Bowls since Kobe Bean Bryant, Mr. 54 himself, died the weekend before Super Bowl 54 in a big Jesuit ritual. I thought that was a good sign for Mahomes to go to 3 straight. And I did think that part of the reason I liked Mahomes, because a lot of people were in the community were torn on who was going to win that Super Bowl, but I was telling people, Brady's getting his 7th ring. You know, it's the year of Saban. We had Saban getting his 7th championship last year and Brady. You know, it was the year of 7 last year. It was 21. Saturn equals 21. Saturn's got 7 rings. Well, until Google updated it this year, now Saturn has 8 rings according to Google. But for all of my life, Saturn's had 7 rings. Anyway, what we saw in the baseball season last year with Tampa, last year, they had the most incredible ritual. The Tampa Bay Rays synced up with Brady in the Super Bowl. It was amazing, and it was against Boston. You know how Super Bowl's 131? They became 13-1 in their last 14 games against Boston. I can't remember if they were the games. I think it was just, I can't remember if it was home games or whatever it was. It was some 13-1 Super Bowl thing. And then it was perfectly synced. The score of the game was perfectly synced with the Super Bowl. And this is before the NFL season began. So we said, okay, that's it, man. Tampa's in the Super Bowl. We know Mahomes is going there. Goat versus baby goat. And Brady's getting his 7th ring in 21 in the Saturn ritual. And that was exactly correct. And this year, this year, my initial thought for my top Super Bowl pick before this year began, and here's what it was. Okay. Don't forget this, you guys. They sync up the Super Bowl every year with the WWE, and I forgot something. Well, we got excited. WrestleMania, remember initially the Super Bowl was going to be February 6th, but then they moved it to February 13th, 213, now in LA, the 213 area code where even the Rams are going to be in it. But initially on that February 6th date, because we started looking at what the Super Bowl was going to be as soon as the Super Bowl ended last year. And I was still on my idea that Mahomes was going to 3 straight. And I liked that Mahomes fell to 6. Mahomes last year when he lost in the Super Bowl, he fell to 6-2 in the playoffs. And we knew that the next season for the Chiefs would be their 62nd season. So that was one of the reasons that we felt comfortable about Mahomes losing to Brady for just an additional reason. Him falling to 6-2, Patrick Mahomes 62. You guys want to know something that's really fucked up? I got to show you something real quick while we're on this thought. You know how that guy from the Cincinnati sitcom TV show? If you watch the video I put out on the death of this Howard Hessman, I didn't connect in the video, but I connected in the notes after I thought about it for 10 more seconds. But this guy who died, who was part of this Cincinnati radio show, and he got famous in the San Francisco comedy scene. That's why, Bengals and Niners, how didn't they do it? Anyway, the T-shirt he's wearing, Black Death. If you look at some other shots, he wore this shirt a lot in the show, but it's Black Death, and it's the first all-black metal band. And from my research, only one member of this band has died, and he died at age 59, number stamped all over Black history. He died from colon cancer, which equals 59, just like Chadwick Boseman, who supposedly died from colon cancer. But this guy, Phil Bullard from this band Black Death, he died on February 6th. Now think about how the majority of the world writes that date, 6-2, right? And then this guy dies in connection to Cincinnati before today's game when Cincinnati beats Mahomes in their 62nd season, essentially the last black starting quarterback. You know, he died today. His season ended, right? And this guy from this band died on 6-2? Now, remember, that was a big number with the playoffs this year because it was the Chiefs' 62nd season. Mahomes came into the playoffs 6-2. His first game was against the Steelers, who are 6-2 in Super Bowls. And then it ends with this. Again, you guys, like I said, they got this stuff scripted out. That's how they choose these people from birth. Like I'm telling you, when Cam Newton was born the year, and then they kill Huey P. Newton the same year, Cam Newton was penciled in for Super Bowl 50. That's what I'm telling you. Patrick Mahomes was born to fulfill this. That's how they can kill that. This man died years ago. This man died February 6, 2008. He died 14 years ago. The word dead's 14. Now 14 years later, this happens. Okay. But anyway, I mean, the silver lining is that you know what's really fucking weird? My book, Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus. Here, I'll show you this. I did not do this on purpose, you guys. But I talk about Joe Burrow in the book. The first page I talk about him on is page 213. It's blown my mind. And I'll read the page to you here. I'll pull it up on the screen, the ebook version. But here's what's wild about Joe Burrow's full name. His full name, Joseph Lee Burrows, 213, right? And now he's in the Super Bowl on 213. In LA, the 213 area code. And again, when he's Mr. Billy Cannon, he's Billy Cannon reincarnated, who was drafted number 1 overall by the Rams. Now he faces the Rams. And again, he's facing all 4 teams in the playoffs that Billy Cannon's connected to. But here, let me pull up my book. Give me a second here. Documents. And by the way, we all we've done is pro sports. But since this stream's getting long, you know, we've had a lot of awesome calls in college basketball and college football and tennis and other sports, boxing. I mean, there's a lot. Masters. I mean, we've killed golf. I taught a guy named Bollygold Backwards how to decode golf. He's tearing that golf apart, man. Bollygold Backwards is hitting like season futures almost. It seems like, I don't know what his win percentage is. I'd say he's hitting at least 1 out of 3 tournaments, getting the winner right before the thing starts. And golf pays huge. I mean, we've done the Masters right 3 years in a row, you guys. Who's called the Masters 3 years in a row from the start? I mean, come on, you guys. We got so many correct calls for all the shit talking losers and the guy who's just staying steady, just talking shit and just like uploading all these misleading videos. He's taking like out of a 3-hour stream the one segment where like there's an idiot who just uploaded a video that said I lied about, you know, the Rams-Cardinals game when I opened up strong on why I like the Rams to beat the Cardinals in the Monday Night Football 2-1-3. By the way, Monday Night Football equals 2-1-3. The Rams beat the Cardinals on the MLK Day when Arizona was the last state to recognize MLK Day, and now they're in the Super Bowl on 2-1-3. So obviously that was all part of the ritual. But yeah, I mean, and then I closed out the stream by saying, again, why I thought it would make the most sense if Brady faced the Rams. And then this guy uploads a video, Zach lied that he liked the Rams. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? At one point, a guy called in with information about why he liked the Cardinals. I was like, oh, that's something to think about. I mean, if that makes you uncomfortable, you might not want to play. But I started with why I like the Rams. I close with why I like the Rams. This fucking loser uploads a video saying I'm lying. You're lying, you piece of shit clown who's watching this video right now. I guarantee you this fucking loser I'm talking about is watching right now. And what side are you on? Are you like some choir boy that got raped by your priest and you like getting raped? That's all I can assume. Because, again, I'm exposing the evil ones. So you must be with the evil ones because you like getting raped. For that sorry-ass motherfucker out there. Anyway, let me show you what blows my mind about my book. I got to change the thing here. Hold on 1 second. Watch this. Watch this. I look at this and I'm just like, how is this even possible? Okay, so I'm searching. This is this book. This is the ebook format. And I need it to load all the pages here that Joe Burrow's on. And you'll see once it's done loading that the first page that Joe Burrow's mentioned is page 213. And it's because it's this chapter. Chapter 50. Here, let me make it bigger because that's too small. Okay. I'm just going to read this first page of chapter 15. And remember, keep in mind that Joe Burrow's now in his 54th season with the Bengals, the Joe Montana number. If he does win the Super Bowl, you guys, he's going to get his 16th career win. He's going to get his 16th win if he wins the Super Bowl. And LVI equals 16. But look at this. Remember last year the Super Bowl acronym equaled 34. Brady got his 34th playoff win winning the Super Bowl. But look at this. Let me scroll down a little bit so you can see this page 213. This page 213, the first page Joe Burrow's mentioned on. And I did not do this on purpose. And I didn't put anything on any page on purpose because when I wrote this book, I wrote it in a Word document, and then I wrote it chapter by chapter, and I saved chapter 1, I saved chapter 2, and then when I was all done, I put all the chapters together and then format the book, and it just ended up on whatever page it ended up on. So this was not, like, if you think that this was done on purpose, I'm telling you it wasn't. And by the way, if you haven't read my book, the last chapter in the book's about the organic side of the code, and I talk about what happened to me. The last chapter of this book is about me being in Louisiana, going down there to educate about all the people that died for the LSU championship and what happened to me while I was down there. Because I had all this organic shit happen that was so weird. It was so weird. But anyway, chapter 15. 2020, the year of Super Bowl 54, was 54 years after the Church of Satan was founded in San Francisco, having been established in 1966, the season of the first Super Bowl. I bring this up because San Francisco is the home of the 49ers, the team who lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 54. And because I haven't checked on anyone's amnesia lately, as a reminder, Jesuit order equates to 54 in Pythagorean gematria, and sun equates to 54 with simple English. If you want to get more technical, in alchemy, the sun represents gold, and the San Francisco 49ers are named after the 1849 gold rush. For another 54, it is the name Joe Montana, equating with reverse Pythagorean, who went to Notre Dame, a Catholic school, and I bring up his name because Super Bowl 54 had much to do with Joe Montana, considered one of the greatest NFL quarterbacks ever. The connection to Super Bowl 54 and Joe Montana was created by the fact that the two teams he played for in his NFL career, the 49ers and the Chiefs, were facing each other. It was an easy riddle to solve largely because Montana wore the number 16 for the 49ers, who he won Super Bowl 16 with, and he wore the number 19 for the Chiefs, who went on to win Super Bowl 54, concluding the 2019-20 season, emphasis on 19. Never mind, Kansas City equates to 67, the 19th prime number. It was only fitting then that the Super Bowl came 54 days after Joe Burrow's December 10th, 2019 birthday. Another Joe, who won the college football championship with the LSU Tigers, defeating the Clemson Tigers on January 13th, 2020, in the Battle of the Tigers, in a year that would become even more about Tigers with hit shows like Tiger King, and a year where Joe Burrow would become the number 1 overall pick by the Cincinnati Bengals, who Joe Montana defeated twice in Super Bowls 16 and 23, two numbers adding to 39, like the 39 gematria values of Montana, Bengals, Tigers, and Masonry. Let us not forget the 2020 NFL Draft was the first ever draft where all the players being selected stayed home, because of the coronavirus, as opposed to meeting in a large building and walking across the stage and shaking someone's hand while fans either cheered or booed the selection, what typically occurs at the event. And getting back to 54, I should note LSU won the championship in their own backyard in New Orleans, equating to 54 with reverse Pythagorean on a 54 date numerology, January 13th, 2020. 1 plus 13 plus 20 plus 20, 54. So, and then it goes on, adding to the list, Super Bowl 54 was played on blah, 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 blah. It was played 54 days from Nancy Pelosi's birthday. I mean, there's a whole lot more here. But I just look at this and I'm just like, what in the hell, man? And I didn't realize that Joseph Lee Burrow equaled 213. I wasn't looking at that. I was just locked into all the 54 stuff they did with him. You know what's funny, though, about him being in Super Bowl 56? Ed Orgeron, when he won the championship with LSU, he did have 56 wins in the regular season the year that LSU won the championship, and now his quarterback's in Super Bowl 56. And remember, where Jesuit Order's 54, Society of Jesus is 56. Those are their two titles. But yeah, I got Joe Burrow, it looks like, on 5 pages in here. So, 222 he makes it, 223, 347. And here's where I get into the organic side of the code. 351 again. But yeah, it's just, well, the weirdest thing that happened to me while I was down there was a lot of things. You know what? Just to tell you, like, when I got into New Orleans, my flight was delayed, and I got into I did fly into New Orleans, and then I drove down to Baton Rouge at first, which I forget, it was like a 2-hour drive or something like that. Got a rental car. I didn't get the rental. It was like 3:30 in the morning when I got the rental car, and then I had a 2-hour drive, so I got into Baton Rouge at like 5:30 in the morning, and then when I got to the desk, I was ready to go to bed because I was tired, and the guy gives me the key to the room. And I go, room 131, you got to be kidding me. And he goes, why? I go, I said, you don't even want to know. He goes, no, I do want to know. Why'd you react that way? And I said, I'm down here to educate about LSU's championship, and I teach about this code of letters and numbers, and the word championship in the code equals 131. It's a number I educate about a lot with sports championships. And he goes, really? And then he goes, he like asked if I'd show him how it worked, and I said, you got a pen and paper? And then I just wrote it out for him, C3, H8, A1, M13, just doing the alphabet order. He's like, that's interesting. And he goes, well, that's funny you got room with 31. And he goes, and then I forget what he asked me, but it turned out that he writes for, he's if you've ever noticed, like AP and Reuters, like when an article's published, they have like 1 million different people's names. So he started asking more, and then eventually he said, like, I forget what he wrote for. I forget if it was Reuters or AP, but he goes, I'm actually a journalist for Reuters when I'm not working this desk job. He said, these are my 2 sources of income. And he goes, do you think it's possible that, like, they could be assigning me stories based on my name's numbers? And I said, it's funny you asked that, because I said, I can't tell you how many times I've pointed out that the person who wrote the article had the number that the article was all about. And he goes, the reason I ask is because the stuff they assign me is so random. Like, I've told them that there's topics that I'm more knowledgeable about, but it's like they give me an assignment, and it's always so random. And I said, it's possible that it could be something about that. So I end up talking to this guy until like 8 in the morning for like 2 hours. And I remember I went in my hotel room 131, and the heat was like on 85. It's already warm down there. I couldn't figure out how to turn off the heat. It's like a fucking sauna in there. But I was so tired, I just passed out anyway. And then I woke up like, I shouldn't even got a hotel room in hindsight. I got up like an hour later and went to the LSU campus. But it was like a power nap for an hour. But anyway, so then that happened. And then when I go to New Orleans, the weirdest thing happened. I wasn't even on the whole 201 thing yet. I had some documentation about 201 and the Jesuits in my work, but I wasn't really on it, and I didn't really understand the number. But I got checked into hotel room 201 when I went to New Orleans, and then what creeped me out is like minutes, 10, 20 minutes after I get into the hotel, I start getting all these texts from a phone number I don't have about Event 201 and how I need to get on researching Event 201. And Event 201's the key to what's going on. I was like, what the hell is going on, man? And I had a weird experience too at LSU with somebody who came to see me that kind of creeped me out too. he really, before I drove down to New Orleans, he was really trying to get me to come back to his house and do some shit that was illegal. And he'd said some things that were off-putting, and I was just like, who is this guy? But, yeah, I had some really weird things happen organically down there. But it's a reminder, organic stuff happens. And I'd seen organic stuff for all the years I've been doing this. But, anyway, it's wild that he's now in the 54th season, you know, on 2-1-3, he's in the Super Bowl. So, what are you going to do? But yeah, I mean, I could go on about college, but that's enough for tonight. This long stream. And let me see. Again, just in case you got here late and you missed the main point, just one more time, what this Super Bowl is all about. Billy Cannon, dead May 20th, 2018. The man for LSU, who won the Heisman, who beat Clemson in the championship in New Orleans, and who died May 20th, 2018. The day in history that Ignatius of Loyola was shot with a cannon, the Jesuits. And Joe Burrow transferred to LSU the exact same day he died, went on to have the exact same legacy. And again, Billy Cannon's connected to 4 NFL teams. He's connected to the Los Angeles Rams, who drafted him, who Joe Burrow is now going to face in the Super Bowl. And again, he played for the Raiders, who the Bengals beat in the opening round. He played for the Houston Oilers, who are now the Tennessee Titans, who the Bengals beat in the divisional round. And he played for the Kansas City Chiefs in 70. That's just like how at the end of the game they showed the 70 on the back of that dude. And the reason at the end of the Bengals beating the Chiefs, they focused on the jersey number 70. Again, Billy Cannon died in Francisville. Francis is 70, like Vatican. And again, Pope Francis is the first publicly Jesuit pope. Pope Francis is Mr. 59. The Super Bowl's on his 59th day of his age. Billy Cannon equals 59. He won the Heisman in 59. LSU Tigers is 59. You see? And then Joe Burrow, he mirrored what Billy Cannon did. You know, it was, I guess technically it was 60 years later, which is interesting because now he's on the Bengals. So that last sacrifice to put the Bengals in the Super Bowl, Howard Hessman, January 29th. It's kind of weird, though, man, because, again, even in the article, I mean, all year the Bengals and Niners have moved together. And you know what's wild? You know what pattern the Rams just broke? They just broke a pattern. San Francisco has Gematria 76. Again, this was the 49ers' 76th season. The Cowboys fell to 7-6 in the wild card. Aaron Rodgers got his 76th career loss. Had the 49ers beat the Rams would have got their 76th loss all time against the 49ers. So again, that's why I was believing more in the Niners today than the Rams, but I was worried about this Billy Cannon thing, how he connected to all 4 of these teams, and that's what it ended up being. But yeah, don't tell me these games aren't rigged. And again, you know, unless you have a resume that's as good as mine in terms of futures, which I know you don't, you know, I'm pretty sure I can look at the whole world and say, your resume on futures isn't as good as mine, okay? You haven't proven half the shit I have. And realize I didn't come here to call sports games. That's not why I got into this work. I got into this work to show that the people that control this world are fucking psychopaths. They're numerologists. It's so obvious. And if you pay attention to the code that they're working by, you can get ahead of them, just as we have in sports, in news, and elections. I mean, don't forget I told you 5, 6, 7 years in advance why 2020 was going to be a really fucked year if the world didn't wake up. Was I wrong? And the reason why I told you, again, because chaos equals 19, the moon's on a 19-year cycle, 9/11 and the 19 hijackers in 2001, 19 years later, 2020, what are they still fucking us with? They're still calling it COVID-19, even though it's 2022. How does that make any sense? It doesn't unless you understand the code. There's been supposedly 5 new dominant strains since Wuhan. but they still want to call it COVID-19. It's because these people have meaning to these numbers. So, anyhow, I didn't bring the phone in here with me, but here, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. You guys have seen all the deaths I've been talking about with the Bengals, right? You guys have seen all the deaths I've been talking about in relation to Cincinnati for Joe Burrow. Again, I just want to show you the things I took down with me to LSU 2 years ago. Again, of course, we took the Billy Cannon one. This was the big thing. This is what made me go to LSU, because I just saw how big this ritual was. And that's why I knew that Joe Burrow was going to be a big deal. I mean, they made it obvious he's going to be a big deal. We went down there and we said, "Is this a coincidence?" This was the most fun I had. I got to be honest. I had the most fun until the police shut it down. I was having so much fun at the Pelican Stadium. Shout out to Jeremy White, man. I wish Cade would have been there on time. Shout out to Cade too, man. Cade was stuck in traffic. He didn't make it there in time. The police already escorted us out of there before Cade could get there. But okay. Okay, I'm just going to go through all these flyers we went there with. So, is this a coincidence? So, I write, David Stern, born September 22nd, 1942, died January 1st, 2020, a date with 42 numerology and 22 numerology. Years after becoming NBA commissioner at 42, and a span of 22 days before Zion Williamson played his first NBA game, January 22nd, 2020, against the Spurs. This becomes more curious when you apply Jewish numerology, Gematria. Words summing to 22 include David, Stern, and basketball. Words summing to 42 include 22, Zionism, and Spurs. Keep in mind Stern was 77 years old when he passed, and words summing to 77 include Judaism, Zionist, and silver. The Pelicans were 17 and 27 prior to Zion's return, and Zion sums to 17, same as NBA. But hold on, we had another sign to go with that. This is the better one. This is the better one for this. Is this a coincidence? New Orleans won the Zion Williamson sweepstakes May 14th, 2019 on the anniversary of Zionist Israel being established May 14th, 1948, just before the 74th NBA season began. Keep in mind that NBA is a Jewish-run organization, Adam Silver, David Stern, etc., and Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, is a Jewish practice based in Kabbalah. And then I show Jewish equals 74, the math's right there. And then I show how Zion Williamson equals 74. You get the Jewish Zion Williamson on the birthday. So anyway, because there were two of these signs, Jeremy White and I, when we got to the Pelicans game, they hadn't opened the doors for the game yet. The doors weren't open, so everyone's lined up at the gate. And Jeremy and I were each holding up one of these. And, Jeremy was helping me out too, but I was talking more. But what was cool is all the people at the fans, they were like, whoa, this is cool. This is crazy. And then they're like, can we record this? Can you say that again? But then one fan got annoyed, and he was drunk. And then the police came, and we ended up getting kicked out of the complex. And then Jeremy knows what happened next. We met the best pickpocket in town, but it was funny, man. It was very impactful. There's a lot of people in that New Orleans that have the clip. They recorded it on their phones, and they got the message. Okay. So then we had this sign, Justice for Nancy Parker. I had to go by the news station where she worked. But this one says, Nancy Parker of New Orleans, WVUE TV, died in a tragic plane crash August 16th, 2019, exactly 150 days before the 150th college football season ended in New Orleans, with LSU defeating Clemson on a date with 54 numerology, January 13th, 2020. She was chosen for this sacrifice because of her name, Gematria, summing to 54. Keep in mind, 2 days later, the 54th governor of Louisiana died, Kathleen Blanco. You see how many 54 connections have been going on with Joe Burrow from then to now? On August 18th. And then I show the math for Nancy Parker in New Orleans. And, what with regards to her dying 150 days before the championship and it being the 150th season, watch this. Let me get rid of myself for a second. We got a few more of these to read over. Whoops. Or here, I'm gonna put myself back up there and just get rid of myself altogether and do something real quick. I didn't have it down quite this good yet, but now I really get it. Watch this. Watch this. The model about how everything goes around the sun is very Jesuit. You see how heliocentrism is 150 and 201? Okay. Remember, the Jesuit order is 201, right? And the Jesuit order was founded by, or not the Jesuit order, but the Order of Illuminati was founded by Adam Weishaupt, the Jesuit, who ended up dying 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. And Illuminati alone is 150. And again, Alec Baldwin this year shot and killed somebody supposedly at 150 in the afternoon, 201 days after his birthday. But with regards to Illuminati being 150 and heliocentrism being the model for the sun and Illuminati meaning in the light, like the sun's the source of light, notice the word sun is 54, right? Just like Jesuit order and their logo is the sun. And again, look at this. What is the distance of the sun from Earth on average? Okay, down here. On average, the sun is 93 million miles away or 150 million kilometers, which is the measurement the majority of the world uses, right? 150? The model of the sun going around the earth, heliocentrism is 150. And notice, Order of Illuminati is also 93, like how they say the sun's 93 million miles away. So now I really get it better. Just the point I'm making is she died in a 150-54 ritual. Sun 54, Jesuit Order 54, Illuminati 150, heliocentrism. I mean, you think this is a coincidence? No way. The Jesuits served the Catholic Church. They worship on Sunday. They started out as a sun cult. Look at this, you guys. You want to look at this? Isus Hominum Salvator is 274 in the most simple cipher. The Romans began worshiping the sun with Sol Invictus in the year 274. And look at this shit. Again, the Jesuit logo is the letters IHS inside the sun, which stands for Isus Hominum Salvator. What is the surface gravity of the sun? 274 meters per second squared. And it does beg the question, is this stuff even true? Are these measurements false? Is it really about Rome controlling all information so all we know is what we learn and what we're told? You know what I mean? Can you guys disprove that the surface gravity is 274 meters per second squared? Can you disprove that it's 93 million miles away, 150 million kilometers? Funny how it fits in with their whole history and number code, you know what I mean? Okay. So, I went and stayed in the 5th Ward. Hold on, do I have it back up there? Let me bring myself back. Okay. 5th Ward Weeby, he died right before the game. So I wrote, R.I.P. Jerome Cozy, 5th Ward Weeby, dead February 19th, 1977 through, he was born February 19th, 1977. He died January 9th, 2020. Jerome Cozy died at age 42, a span of 42 days from his upcoming birthday, and 4 days before the LSU Tigers defeated Clemson with 42 points on January 13th in his hometown. He was chosen for this ritual sacrifice for 2 key reasons. Weeby in Gematria equals 113. LSU Tigers equals 113, like the date, 113. And then also, Jerome Cozy equals 133, like football. And did I not just talk about that today? The man who's dead today before the Bengals game, he's dead 133 days from the anniversary of that show starting. You know? It's the same shit. And the one thing that I realized that I forgot on this as soon as I got into New Orleans, the thing I realized once I got there, is everywhere in that city, it says NOLA. Everywhere. It's just everywhere. They don't even call the place New Orleans when you're down there. It's NOLA. NOLA is everywhere. NOLA equals 42. So I was like, oh, no wonder they scored 42 in NOLA. Now I see. And again, 42 stamped all over Black history. It's a predominantly black city. If you guys were watching while I was down there, I was walking, through the French Quarter, and there's a Catholic church there. And right on the outside, there's a big plaque, and it says, This church began allowing Negroes to attend in 1842. And I was like, oh my God. And I'll tell you what else pissed me off. I still remember it. So I went in the church. It was a Sunday. Church service was going on. So I go into the church. I wasn't trying to be rude because the service is going on. I was raised Lutheran. I know you're supposed to be in the church. But I went in, and there's a lobby section out there, and I was just standing in the lobby and just kind of peering in. The door was open so I could see. And there was a black woman. But what was interesting to me is that the majority of the people in the church were not black. But the woman who came and talked to me was black. And she goes, "Hi, can I help you?" And she goes, "You need to take your hat off." I had my Truth Matters hat on. So I took it off. I said, "Oh, sorry." She goes, "We don't wear hats in here." I said, "Oh, sorry." And she goes, "Can I help you?" And I said, I just wanted to talk to one of the officials at the church about the plaque you have on the outside and see if they realize anything interesting about, black people not being allowed in the church until 1842. And she goes, "Why does that matter?" And I said, "Doesn't the number 42 just ring any bells with you in black history?" And she thought about it. And she goes, "No, not really." I said, like Jackie Robinson number 42? And she's like, "Okay." She's like, "Is there?" I said, "There's actually a lot to it." And then I explained to her how NOLA, I said, I noticed NOLA's written everywhere. N's the 14th letter, O's the 15th, L's the 12th, A's the 1st. If you add it up, it's 42. She goes, "Oh my God, I got so many things to worry about in this world. I don't got to worry about numbers." And I said to her, "Well, listen," I said, "there's a lot of people that are killed in connection to this number that are darker complected. One just happened, this 5th Ward Weeby. I had these signs with me." She goes, "Oh, I got," and then she didn't want to hear anything about it. So I was just like, it's too bad, but whatever. So, and then I was like, well, she goes to church. I mean, you usually don't find the smartest people at church. Sorry, church people. Here, another one. This one was brutal. Is this a coincidence? This one was brutal. Carly McCord, daughter-in-law of LSU offensive coordinator Steve Ensminger, died in a plane crash December 28, 2019, the same day LSU advanced to the college football championship, where they beat Clemson 42-25 with 67 combined points. Remember the over-under for that game was at 67.5. Steve Ensminger, I show how in Gematria, his name equals 67, just like blood sacrifice. And I said the Gematria of plane crash also connects to the star QB Burrow and championship-winning coach Orgeron. Plane crash equals 97, Burrow equals 97, Orgeron equals 97. 97 is the 25th prime number. Clemson was held at 25. And again, what I was doing is I was taking all these signs and putting them, on fences, on tables. What was nice is at LSU, they have this place to share information, and they have all these tables out there. So we set all these down on a table, and then people could come by and read them and ask questions. But remember how we also called Clemson to be in the championship before the season began? It was right here. Tyshawn Dye. And sadly, he died in a big ritual. Tyshawn Dye passed prematurely at the age of 25, exactly what Clemson would lose with, reportedly from drowning on the date of July 5th, 2019, exactly 192 days before Clemson faced LSU in the college football championship, January 13th, 2020. Of course, Clemson lost with 25 points, and their QB Trevor Lawrence was kept to 25 career wins as a starter. By the way, Trevor Lawrence fell to 25-1 in that game, 251 the 54th prime. The reason it matters that he died 192 days before the game on July 5th, or 7/5 or 7/5 like 75, and at age 25 is as follows. And then I show how in Gematria, Clemson Tigers equals 192 and 75. He dies on 7/5, 192 days before the game. And I mean, if you were here, I put out a video that day and I said, well, pencil Clemson in for the championship. And then his name, Tyshawn equals 25 like death. And you know what else I just noticed just doing that? I don't know if I caught this before. But now I see it. 5th Ward Weeby, his birthday was February 19th. That day can be written 19/2 like 192. And, he's from New Orleans and they beat Clemson, the 192 team. That's what I mean. They choose people that have the right numbers. So, Anyway, I mean, the consistency of the numbers, right? It's just undeniable. It's undeniable. Same damn patterns. He's Mr. 54 in the Bengals 54 season. He leads them to their third Super Bowl. And that's the thing about the Bengals being in their third Super Bowl. When you write out 3, it's 56, right? And remember, it's the Illuminati, the Jesuits, and it's all biblical. In the third verse in Genesis 1:3, God makes light. Light is 56. Society of Jesus is 56. Genesis is the beginning of the Abrahamic religions, which are 3. Judaism, Christianity, Islam. You see how Abrahamic's 187 in reverse? There's 187 chapters in the Torah, which is the basis of the Abrahamic religions. So, initially I thought Mahomes would go to 3 straight Super Bowls, and this would have been the 3rd straight. But then we saw the Joe Burrow riddle in the year of the Tiger, and I was thinking that it made sense for maybe the 3rd Super Bowl between the Bengals and 49ers. Well, that's not quite right either, but it's going to be the 3rd Super Bowl for the Bengals. And for all the people in the chat saying who's going to win the game, I'm going to think about it. We'll be talking about it on Patreon, but look, here's step 1. Okay, let's go to the Bengals football reference page. They haven't updated this yet. They're now 8-14 in the playoffs. This has not updated yet. So they're now 8-14 in the playoffs. That means their next win is number 9. Joe Burrow, number 9. But the Bengals and the Rams, what's interesting about their history is the Bengals are 8-6 versus the Rams. Now recall last week, the 54th pick of the Bengals, Dunlap, who wears the number 96, 9 times 6 is 54, his dad died the day of the game. And the halftime against the Titans, the score was 9-6 in favor of Cincinnati. So this does stand out that if Cincinnati won the Super Bowl, they'd be 9-6. And what else is interesting is if you write out the word 16, it's 96. And, of course, Joe Burrow's the new Joe Montana, who wore number 16. And it's Super Bowl LVI, and LVI is 16. And if Joe Burrow wins the game, he gets his 16th win. So I got to tell you, all that does stand out to me a lot. But I will be turning over some more stones and see if my thought doesn't change. But that's everything that points to me right now. So they put up a nice stat today. Joe Burrow 0 for 8 in the red zone. And then I said this week later, I said, watch this. Here comes a touchdown on the 9th pass. Boom. Right to Chase, his old teammate. Touchdown. So, again, he's Mr. Tiger. Tiger's 76. It's the year of the Tiger. And the Super Bowl's 76 days after his dad's birthday. I swear to God it would have made more sense if they play the 49ers. What the hell, man? It's the 49ers' 76th season. I don't know. Normally when a pattern starts hitting in the playoffs, it doesn't break. It doesn't break normally, but it broke in this game because the Rams did not pick up the 76th loss against the 49ers. Happened to the Packers. It happened to the Cowboys, but somehow the Rams got past it. I guess the Billy Cannon thing's what trumped it. Either that or they didn't want us gloating over here. So anyway. Okay. All right, you guys. I'll take it to the chat. Do you want me to take some phone calls or should we just wrap it up? It's getting kind of late. Phone calls or wrap it up? I'll let the chat vote. If you want me to wrap it up, no calls, put 2. If you want me to take phone calls, put 1. If you guys put 1, I have to go in the other room to get the phone because I didn't bring it in here with me. Well, Bobby's the hot hand. Bobby in the chat says it. Bobby says the Rams are winning the Super Bowl. Bobby is a Rams fan though, so Bobby says it's the Rams. Bobby's the guy who I said the shout out to at the beginning. Bobby said the Super Bowl is going to be the Rams and the Bengals. Billy Cannonball. All right, you guys, I'll be right back. Hold on, I gotta go get the phone. right. We got calls just flying in here. We already got our first call. What's up, New Jersey? You're on. You got to lead us off.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. What's up?
So, man, dude, I mean, you know how the Super Bowl was first set to, happen on February 6th?
Right. That was the initial date, right? February 6th, right?
Yeah, man. So, thinking about all the Jupiter stuff, number 9 versus number 9, and then the Queen of England's husband dying at 99 on the 99th day of the year.
Right. For people who don't know, Jupiter is the striped planet. So Jupiter is associated with the tiger. Jupiter equals 99. So now we have 9 versus 9, and we have Aaron Donald, number 99, all in the game. So that's the Jupiter thing. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so, from the, was he the prince, her husband? Charles or whatever? Yeah, so he died.
He died on the 99th day of the year at age 99, right after DMX's death. Or wait, they died on the same day. I take it back. They both died the same day.
I measured to, the first announced Super Bowl day, and it was 303 days later, like Cincinnati Bengals. And it's 74 days before the Queen's birthday. And I just think, like, that pair of 74 and 303, and it's on 2/6, it really means something. So I just want you to look into that date and regarding the Queen and maybe like a big sacrifice for her or even her death happening.
Cincinnati is the Queen City. Again, Regina means queen. Queen equals 26. Her son supposedly committed suicide at age 26. So this is why you're thinking about the Queen, huh? Because Cincinnati, the Queen City?
Yeah, and it's really like about this whole idea of the Great Conjunction, Saturn versus Jupiter. It's like the lion is like the tiger, the cat, and that's like the symbol for the crown or whatever. So I just think that there's a lot of substance to that date and the Queen making huge news somehow.
Okay, great observation. I'm going to go on to the next caller, but I'm going to think more about that. Great observation. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, try to be efficient with your calls because it's late and we want to get some different voices in here. What's up, 816?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up?
Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, I just want to let you know, man, I just signed up to you, man, today, man. I've been listening to you for a while, man. I'm so glad, man, I got to talk to you, man. You really on your shit, man.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for the support.
Yeah, man, I had to, man. I'm telling you, be calling it, man. You kind of did kind of bad today, man, because it was kind of tricky, man. You kind of did bad today, but I still see what you're doing. And I really respect it, man.
I appreciate that. Right, it was not the best day, that's for sure. Would have been a great day if it was Bengals and Niners, but Bengals and Rams, I didn't want that to happen. So anyway, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So who you think who you calling in for the Super Bowl?
Did you see what I was just saying there a second ago?
The Rams, you calling it?
No, you didn't. Maybe rewind the video. Oh, I'm gonna go over it again since you're on Patreon. But I just said about 5 minutes ago what I was showing.
Yep.
I was showing how the Bengals. I was showing how the Bengals are 8. Just so you know, I was showing how the Bengals are 8-6 versus the Rams right now. If they win, they'll be 9-6, and they'll get their 9th all-time playoff win. Cincinnati's 96, and Joe Burrow's Mr. 9. So that's what stands out to me right now.
Yep. I'm going to let you do your thing, though, man. Hey, man, I love what you're doing, man. I love you, man. Take it easy, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Welcome to the community. You have a good night.
Yes, sir.
By the way, the Queen is in her 96th year of life right now. She's going to turn 96 on April 21st, the same day Prince died. Remember, Prince did the song, I Would Die For You, with the number 4 and the letter U. You, the 21st letter, 421. Prince dies 421 after recording the song 33 years earlier. 586. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Zach, man?
How you doing?
I was trying to get in. I called last week about the Super Bowl 16 being in Michigan, Pontiac, the Silverdome, all the
That's true. That's true. 16. You're right.
Okay, you remember me now? Okay, yeah. So originally I was with you two with the 49ers Bengals, and now I'm seeing the correlation of why it's Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford. Being from Michigan, it's his 13th season. Also to add with the 13 and 31, I got plenty of those for that. But Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Eminem, they all got 32 and 30 and 13 in there, like Skull and Bones. And
That was one of the clues right there too. Is just Eminem being in the Super Bowl, coming from Detroit, where Stafford always was, and then his team won the college championship, Georgia. I mean, I get why the Rams are there. All year the Bengals and 49ers moved together, so this was the first time the pattern broke.
Yeah, it's been wild, man, and they've been just throwing me off. But definitely with the numbers, you can see the connections. And then also with the 13, so the Bengals they won their first playoff game against the Raiders in the wild card, I believe, this year. They scored 26 points. I know 26. I think Cincinnati might come to that. I also have more with that, but the 26, Trey Waynes, he's from Michigan State as well. He's got Michigan ties. He's number 26 on Cincinnati. He's the cornerback. But they scored 26 points to end their 31-year drought of not winning a playoff game and to win the playoff game in the wild card this year. And then 51, you have, obviously Cincinnati, they scored 51 total points today. Also, so Matthew Stafford, him and Joe Burrow had a lot of comparisons to each other because he was, they both wear number 9, and then I think they're both 6'3", and they had a lot of comparisons as well. Also to that, Matthew Stafford was the first, if you type in first pick 2009, that also comes to a sum of 51. And just, yeah, man, them lining these fucking numbers up. You can just see, obviously, they're playing the mind games on the clowns. But, yeah, just seeing, the Jesuit stronghold and the Jesuits just lining these numbers up. I just thought it was crazy. Yeah, adding more to that. Not saying too much, but Detroit, I know I was calling the other Super Bowl. I found out, too, that was in Detroit. The only other one that was actually in Detroit was in 2006. On February 5th, I don't know the number. I know 256 is a prime number or something, I believe. And, Pittsburgh won the Super Bowl in that year in Detroit, 2006. Ben Roethlisberger, all his Jesuit numbers.
All right, great observations, man. I'm going to let a few more people get in before it gets too late. But, yeah, great observations. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care. 925.
Hey, Zach, what's up, bud?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. So yeah, I was the guy that was on the Niners and Bengals all season. I agree with you, man. I think they fucked with us, man. I think they switched it last second.
You want to know something? Jimmy Garoppolo had 137 passing yards at halftime. I was thinking that was a good sign.
Yep.
You saw that too? That he had 137 yards at the half?
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, had the Bengals and 49ers both won today, I mean, it happened for the Bengals, but had they both won, they both would have been 13-7 for the season, like 137, the 33rd prime. And the last time they met in the Super Bowl was 33 years ago. Hey, you didn't catch when they zoomed in on the football in the Bengals game, did you?
Well, what happened? What I missed?
I'm going to put it on the screen. I talked about the guy who died before the game from the who connected San Francisco and Cincinnati. But check this out. They zoomed in on the ball in the game, in the Bengals-Chiefs game, when the Chiefs were up 21-10, and you could see the Bengals logo on the ball with the number 337. The dude who died before the game connected to that Cincinnati sitcom. He died on his 337th day of his age. That's the 68th prime number, and of course, championship is 68. That's the one thing that happened with the Niners today, too, by losing. That prior to today, when the Niners and Cowboys had played in the playoffs, 6 out of 7 times the winner had gone to the Super Bowl. Well, because the Niners lost today, now it's 6 out of 8 times, kind of like 68, like championship. Yeah. But yeah, I couldn't believe when they zoomed in on the ball. I was like, look at that, man. And just right after talking about how this dude just died on the 337th day of his age, I mean, this stuff is sick.
Yeah, so I just want to say real quick to anybody that's listening, the best $5 you can spend is getting in on the Patreon because of the live stream and all the notes, I did hedge with the Bengals and the Rams, so I still made some money. It's not the $75K that I would have won, but, I still won $10K.
Hey, that's not bad.
Better than nothing.
But that's the way you look at it. You're like, man, that would have
and,
been rich. But hey, 10K is not bad.
Yeah, man. So look, you've been talking about Billy Cannon, right? And there's so many like things pointing to this Joe Burrow thing. Like I believe it's his season because, from the death day of Billy Cannon to the Super Bowl is 96 days, and Cincinnati's 96. So I think this whole tribute thing is about him. I mean, look, they ran through all the teams that he played for. He was drafted by the Rams, so I think what they're going to do is they're going to beat the Rams, but, we don't know for sure. But a few little points I want to make here. So Georgia, right? That's the college that Stafford went to.
Right.
Kirby Smart right now is on 66 wins, and that's a Cincinnati number. Okay, so I thought that was interesting, right? And then prior to this season, he had coached 66 games. So they were kind of throwing it already in our face, right? And then, I wish we would have caught on this a little earlier, but, and then so that game where they played Georgia in 2019, the LSU Tigers scored 37 points, right? That's the Los Angeles number. That was the total for the game today with the Niners and the Rams. So that was kind of interesting that I caught that. Also, in 2019, when LSU beat Clemson, there was 67 points scored in that game, 42-25. That's the 19th prime, and that was in the 2019 season. Well, the only other championship that LSU won against Clemson was the year Billy Cannon won a national championship. So that right there, is pretty funny. So then I start looking into Billy Cannon's stats for that season. He had 115 rushing attempts. And I'm like, okay, 115. Why does that sound so familiar? Well, the year that Joe Burrow won the championship at LSU was the 115th championship, or it was the 115th season as a school. So that was their 115th season. So they're definitely tying in this Billy Cannon stuff and Joe Burrow, and then it makes sense with the whole Georgia stuff because of Matthew Stafford, the 66 wins for Kirby Smart. Georgia plays at Athens in Georgia, and Joe Burrow, his high school is in Athens in Ohio. So, I mean, it's like all these little things are like lining up. I wish I would have caught on this a little earlier, but I'm grateful for the stream. I'm grateful for the Patreon.
Here. I want to give you something since you're good at researching. Look into Queen Elizabeth, because I'm realizing right now that the game is 67 days before her 96th birthday, and we know that's a blood sacrifice number. And I mean, there's been some.
Oh my God!
And again, Cincinnati is the Queen City,
God.
and since she's 95, which means she's in her 96th year of life. Again, if the Bengals win, they are going to get to 9-6. But yeah, the Queen could kick the bucket. So might want to do some research on the Queen and what's happened in Super Bowls.
That's very interesting.
Go back and look at how old she was.
So,
go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead. Just say what you're saying.
I was going to say one point about the 49ers. I think it's so funny that the 76 didn't hit today for the Rams, but one thing I missed was they're actually in their 77th year. They were established in 1944. Their first season was in 1946. So if you subtract 2020 to 1946, it's only 75 years. So next year is going to be their 76th season. So I'm wondering if maybe the Bengals go back-to-back, and then the Niners play them next year.
No, it's the Niners' 76th season this year.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It's their 76th
season.
So
2021 minus 1946 is 75 years.
All right, I'm going to have to go back and double check. I mean, the Football Reference has always been spot on.
No, look, dude, I think they've been fucking with us with the stats.
No. 46 was their first season, and this was the 2021 season, so that's 76 years, because it's 75 years later. But you got to count the 46 year, because it's like, think about it. Let's just say it's 1947. So it's 1947. We had the 46th season. So is 47 our first year or our second season?
Oh, so okay, I see what you're saying. So they're in their 76th year. This would be the completion of the 76th season. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, I missed that. Well, anyways, yeah, I'll let the next caller get in. And, thanks for all you do, man. And if you haven't signed up, guys, get on the Patreon.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, later.
917, you're on 917.
Yeah, hey, so I just have a quick observation, and I'll let you comment on it. I'll hang up. So if anybody's thinking about, picking a winner, usually I've been following a trend is that whichever team has, like, a public embarrassment ritual right before the game. So, like, last year, it was the Chiefs. The year where the Patriots playbook got stolen, it was, like, the Falcons ended up losing. There was Marshawn Lynch with the Seahawks. It was Ron Rivera when his house got set on fire. Whoever has, like, a big story that's coming out the week of generally loses the game. So I would wait until maybe Friday or Saturday and just kind of see.
Exactly. That's the thing. You got to wait and see what they do. I mean, something big could happen between now and then that's a huge clue for the game. Absolutely.
And I think a prime candidate before I hang up would obviously be Odell Beckham Jr., just given how they already portray him in the narrative. So I'm going to pay attention to him specifically the week of the Super Bowl to see if anything comes out surrounding him. And if it does, then I think that's a clear indicator that the Rams are probably going to lose and Cincy's is probably going to win. Thanks.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. 607? 607.
Yo.
The
Stafford had 337 passing yards today too.
Oh,
like,
my
I definitely
God.
seen them zoom in on the. Yeah, I seen them zoom in on the football. I was like, no way, because I was watching your live stream on that, like the 337 with the guy in like the movie for Cincinnati. I was watching that before the game, and then they zoom in on the 337 on the Super Bowl or on the ball. Like, that's so ridiculous.
It was. Have you ever seen them zoom up that much on the ball in your life? I was like, oh my God, they wanted us to see that.
For sure. And I find it interesting the Bengals can become 9-6 versus the Rams. That's really strong. And then, but what's also strong is this. Right now, we know that the Bengals are 8-14 in the playoffs all time. So their next game in the playoffs, the Super Bowl, it's going to be their 23rd game. And 23 is the 9th prime. So Burrow can get the 9th win in the 23rd game, and he's number 9. But also 239, like 23, like in the 23rd game, they'll get their 9th win, like 239. It's the 239 is the 52nd prime.
Right.
And Los Angeles Rams is 52.
Right. Yeah. Very good.
It's amazing how they do it, man. It's just mind-blowing.
So, somebody's calling in hardcore from the UK. I just got to take the call since they stayed up late.
Yeah, that's all I had, man.
Appreciate it, man. Great observation, though. UK, what's going on, UK? UK? United Kingdom?
Chill faggot. Your picks are terrible.
Oh, it's a troll from the UK using a robotic voice. Man, I got trolls in the UK? That is sad. Okay. Again, that person talking mess. Let's see your resume. Guarantee it doesn't even come close. 816, what's up?
Yo, hey, this is me calling again, man. I wanted to bring up the scenario because I was thinking about this one with I don't know if it might be close to, but I was thinking about the connection with the Georgia quarterback, Matt Stafford and Stetson Bennett. That's why I'm thinking it's going to be a win because they synced everything around Georgia, Atlanta Braves, and everything.
That's true. Been a big year for Georgia. He is the Georgia quarterback. Okay, that's a thought.
That was my scenario.
That's a thought. That could be.
Hey, I just wanted to say that one.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. That's a good thought. Georgia's been big this year. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Have a good night. 510.
Hey, Zach, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Zach, you're not going to believe this shit. When I tell you this, it's going to blow your fucking mind, bro.
Okay.
So I've been watching you for a few years. You're one of my best YouTube guys, man. Like, you're always on point. This guy that's been coming at you in the past, I don't know if you heard about it this evening, RFG Chosen.
He's the biggest clown out there. The only reason he even has a following is because he copied my Super Bowl 50 pick. Clown.
Let me tell you what the fuck happened this evening. So me and my roommates are on Instagram, and in the fourth quarter, with about, matter of fact, the end of the third quarter, he's been making everybody wait for 2 weeks to get his pick and charging them $100.
Anybody who'd pay that guy $100 for a pick deserves to get ripped off because he hasn't called anything right since Super Bowl 50, and he's been a mile off on everything.
Wait. Here comes the saucy part. So in the third quarter, or whenever the Niners are winning good and the game looks like it's going to the Niners, this guy makes his prediction and posts up Bengals versus 49ers. And he's like, I made this prediction in August when Zach Hubbard and the rest of the guys were conning people out of money for Patreon and giving out bad picks. I made this post, and the Niners and the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl, and the Niners are going to win. And you can go to his page right now and see it. As soon as he put that up, the fucking Rams take the lead, and everybody's clowning his ass.
And did he really even have a pick in August?
Zach, if you go to his Instagram right now on Google, he still got the picture up. It says Bengals versus Niners. So he made it seem like he was this guru and this is exactly what's going to happen. And so when the Rams won, he said, I'm having some technical difficulties on my page. And you guys stay tuned and all of this. Everybody on the comment section on that picture is clowning his ass.
Well, that's why he left America. Realized he's not even in the country anymore. He had to go hide out in the mountains. So.
Oh my God, man. I just wanted to call in and let you know that this guy tried to finesse the viewers, and he ended up getting finessed.
Oh my God, he's the best. But I feel if you're paying a RFG $100 for sports picks, I mean, I can't even just. I mean, the guy. He would have never got Super Bowl 50 right if he didn't copy me, and he's tried to go against me every year. He's always talking shit, and then every year I'm right. He's always putting up a video. He's like, yeah, but he picked 20 different scenarios. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. We only had one scenario all year, and he's the biggest liar. But he can't take my name out of his mouth, and I'm the only reason he even has a following. I mean, he's the biggest clown out here, man. That's exactly who he is. He waits till the game's up 17-7 to put out his pick. What a joke. So.
But he got bamboozled because when he put it up at the third quarter, the Niners ended up losing, and now he looks like a dumbass.
It's funny they had the Niners stay on 17 points because the Niners became the number one team all time going to their 17th conference championship, but then they got stuck on 17. He always looked like a dumbass, man. I mean, I don't know anybody. I don't know why anyone follows him. He's the biggest clown on YouTube, that's for sure. He's worse than Tony Tell It Like It Is, if you know who that is. Those are the two biggest clowns on YouTube, so...
Oh, God, man, I just had to call in and tell you I've been trying to call in, but I know everybody's calling in. Man, thanks for what you're doing, and keep on helping the truth seekers, man. It's a lot of bullshit going on out here that's smoke and mirrors, and you one of the guys on the front lines, man. If don't nobody give you your flowers while you alive, I'm giving you your flowers right now, man. We need more people like you.
I appreciate that. By the way, for anybody who's out there, Oklahoma City, April 19th. I'm going to be there. We're getting the word out about big agendas. So if you can join us in OKC on April 19th, we'll be there. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the call.
No doubt, Zach. Stay up, man.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night. 775?
Yeah, I got a proposition for you.
Okay.
I want to box you in a charity boxing match.
Okay.
Because you're the biggest piece of shit. And I think we could raise some money.
Okay.
It go to a good cause, and I get to beat the shit out of you.
Well, you might think that's what's going to be the outcome. So OKC, April 19th. By the way, why do you dislike? Hey, why do you dislike me so much?
Because you keep saying that you get every fucking pick right.
I didn't say that. I went through my resume tonight, honestly. Tell me what was wrong about what I said tonight going through the resume.
Well, first of all, you had the Cowboys and the Chiefs.
I went over that. I did think it was going to be Cowboys and Chiefs to start the year with the whole WrestleMania thing.
Yeah. So
tell me how we done about every other year though? You're calling when I got it wrong, but I mean we've nailed it almost every other year.
I'll give you credit. No, I'll give you credit where it's due. You got the pick last year right. But other than that, man, you are like what, 1 for 6 in your futures?
Not even close. The year before that, who did we have to win the Super Bowl before the season? Hold on. Super Bowl 54. Who did we have to win Super Bowl? Hold on. Who did we have to win Super Bowl 54 before the season began?
I don't know.
Chiefs. Chiefs. We had the Chiefs.
You had all 32 teams, right?
No, we had the Chiefs. We had the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, which is correct. Super Bowl 53. Okay. Super Bowl 53. Sure. There's a dentist who won $350,000 off my Super Bowl 53 pick. We had 2 teams to play each other and the right winner.
This year, though. Let's talk about this year.
See, this guy's a clown. Sorry. I already went over the resume. He's wrong. Okay, 4-2-3.
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
Man, I want to thank you for yesterday, man. I called in yesterday, man, and hey, man, you saved me a ton of money, man. That's all I can say is thank you. It's just, hey, you said Bengals and that 337 on the football and that boom and that grin on Boomer Esiason's face. I said I already know what's going on.
That's something I didn't talk about in this stream. So Boomer Esiason, who was the last Bengals quarterback to go in a Super Bowl, the Super Bowl this year is on his 303rd day of his age. Cincinnati Bengals equals 303, and tell me that number doesn't look like 33 like it was 33 years ago. And we saw that, I was like, man, that looks really good for the Bengals. So
man, I called yesterday and you said, man, the NFL can script whatever they want. And I was like, yeah, he right, man. Let me go back in here and readjust just so I don't be out here looking stupid. Just in case the Bengals do win, the 49ers might find a way to lose to the Rams. So, and then that 337 on the football, that was the icing on the cake right there. I was like, damn, they'll never zoom in on the football.
You saw that with your own eyes in the game too. You saw that too, huh?
Saw it with my own eyes. And then they missed a whole bunch of calls in the Rams game. I was like, yeah, they finna let them come back. This is perfect, man. This is good. This is perfect, exactly like how you said it was going to happen. They will script whatever they want when they find out what is the best for their bottom line at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think that's what they did this year. This is the tightest script I ever saw this year, but I mean, it does make sense with the whole Billy Cannon thing. It would have made sense, Bengals and Niners. I mean, it could have worked out either way, so.
Right, exactly. I just kept that in the back of my mind. I said that Billy Cannon, Joe Burrow, wait a minute, it could be the Rams. I said, and if it does happen to be the Rams, what fitting ending with all the Matthew Stafford, Eminem, it's all adding all up, man. It's just.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is, man, thank you, man. You're a godsend, man.
Well, honestly, I wish I would have. I'm glad to hear that I saved you money and you did all right. But I mean, I feel like I'd give myself a D+ for this season. I mean, it definitely wasn't my season, but I'm glad that it still helped.
A D+ is better than an F.
That's true. That's true. Thank you. So appreciate it, man.
Man, we just ready for your new book, man. Just get that new book out, man, so we can.
From now on, I gotta pay attention to what page numbers my shit ends up on. Apparently, it was telling us Joe Burrow was going to the Super Bowl the whole time. But anyway, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I read that in your book, and I went and grabbed the book as soon as you said it on the live chat. I was like, let me go in here and look at this book. Man, he got it on certain pages. Hey, he might fuck around and win the Super Bowl too.
Yeah. It's crazy, so
it wouldn't shock me, man. I mean, I wish they'd do it for my Jaguars, man. Come on, Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, you never know, man. Appreciate it.
They'll script anything, man. They'll script anything.
Indeed.
Man, just thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Man, you have a good evening, man.
Yeah, you too.
Take care, man.
Yeah, take care. 589 or 586? 586. I'm getting dyslexic.
What's up, Zach? I just wanted to add one more thing with the Detroit, 44 Jesuit. All the 42 numbers they've been adding. When Bengals also equals 42 as well. I feel like they kind of pulled that, that number ritual tie as well with them, like with the shooting and everything else they had going on with the college football first time playoff appearance. Joe Burrow as well. Just he has the 116 ties if you take his middle name out. I know I was adding that to just the 16. With the Up With People, Super Bowl 16, Joe Montana, and just them taking the rituals and mockery of his name or, the spirit of that, however they're doing it. Yeah, I just wanted to add that last thing on there, man. Thank you for the.
I
call.
appreciate it. You're very welcome. I'll let Big Al get in, but great call. Thank you, my man. Have a good night. Oh, shit. I didn't do it fast enough. Hold on. We always got to get Big Al in. I know Big Al covered himself with the Rams tonight, but him and I were both going for 49ers and Bengals, man. We wanted it.
Hey, Zach.
What's up, Big Al?
Hey, just listening to the live stream, man. So,
yeah.
Yeah, man. It's it all in all, it still turned out well because, you know, I hedged the Rams today.
Okay.
And just keeping up with everything, like you know, with that today with the WKRP dude. I mean, that was just, to me, I'm like, I was feeling really good about Cincinnati. I was hoping it was Niners, but, you know, I mean, it was still, 4.5 to 1 today I got it at before the game started with Bengals Rams.
There you go.
You don't even have to be 100% right at this. So I just really called in because of that piece of shit that called in like 2 callers ago. That's the thing with this. Most of this shit, this isn't for people, and I see why. They're just not deserving.
Well, that guy's like a paid-for clown because he doesn't even know anything. All he knows is this year and last year. It's like, shut the fuck up then, dude. I have a long resume. We've been doing it for years in all sports.
I mean, you just tell this is the type of fucker. This shit ain't for them. They lost too much money at it, you know, and it's...
I think he's just a paid-for one of the bots that hangs around the chat all day and just talks shit and doesn't even know what's going on. I mean, show me anybody else who called the Masters the last 3 years in a row. Show me anybody who called the Masters 3 years straight. Show me that person.
Nobody. There's nobody out there. The only guy close to doing that is the guy from...
well, Bally Go Backwards is the best now at calling golf because that's his thing. He's killing it. He's gonna call the Masters 5 years in a row. Just watch.
He figured it out, didn't he? He figured it out. He took what you taught him, and now look what he's doing.
Because golf's his thing. That's the thing, you guys. You take the knowledge I'm teaching you, and if you know about this stuff, you can take it to the next level. This guy already, golf was his thing. So now he learned about this, and he's like, wait a minute, I got this figured out.
He knows all the history and shit of it, too, and that's how they tie all this together, just like the Billy Cannon and all of it, you know? If you know the history of it, that's the biggest clues to all this.
Yeah. So...
Great work as always, man.
Well, I'm glad you made out all right. It probably would have been a bigger payload if it was...
It ended up being a good week, man. You know, I mean, so it could have been, you know, great if it would have been Cowboys, but hey, you know, they make it tough, man. They make it tough, but finding out this whole Tiger thing when we did, it paid off.
What do you think about Queen Lizzie about to turn 96 and Cincinnati can get to 96?
That's really interesting. All eyes on the Queen, huh? And yeah, you know me, I'm born and raised in Cincinnati, Queen City. That's what it is, man. They call it the Queen City.
Yeah.
And we know how they sync it all together.
Yeah.
Well, you think this whole Joe Burrow thing, too, with the Rams, I was just thinking about that because, you know, with Brady just retiring before all this and first team he was beat was the Rams,
did Brady
right?
officially retire or not? I thought it was unclear.
Well, today they act like it's official.
Really?
But either way, it's kind of like the same thing with Brady, right? Now you have this Joe Burrow that can, you know, they're comparing to Montana. Maybe he beats the Rams.
It could be, and he get the torch passes on to him. So
Rams 201, man. Rams 201.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's still unclear if he's retired. Just reading the headlines right now, so. We'll see.
Yeah, in one breath they tell you he's retired, and then in another it's like, well, no, you know. Either way, I think they're just fucking with people. That's all.
But yeah, that is true. Yeah. If it starts for Joe Burrow against the Rams like it did for Brady right after he retires, that is very interesting.
Yeah, why would they bring Brady back at that point? This is their new guy now. He's the fresh face. Nobody wants to see this guy now, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. That's a good thought, though.
Seems very likely that's what they're going to do. But now I just know the whole connection with Cincinnati, though, the whole Jesuit thing. That's why, you know, they're in their 3rd Super Bowl now. And this makes too much sense.
Right. When you write out 3, it's 56.
They still connected to 3, though, didn't they?
Yeah, 3rd Super Bowl.
That's the thing about this, man. It's just like once you know these patterns, you just see how they're doing it all. Even if you're not getting exactly right, you're damn close or you're close enough.
Yeah, for any of the trolls out there that talk shit and about what you don't know about, I mean, do you think you can make an argument that I'm wrong about the games are rigged and the Jesuits are behind it? I mean, do you really think you have an argument, a leg to stand on? I'm going to bury you in a million facts.
Yeah, like, last year, just watch the Super Bowl when you did it. I mean, you could sit there and pretty much every drive you could see what they were going to do.
Yeah, for people who missed the live coverage of the Super Bowl last year, we were locked into the riddle, so we just understood it so well. I mean, like, I literally did see what was going to happen on each drive. I told Sweet Lady there'd be 17 points at halftime, and I thought the 49ers would get to 17 and then eventually get to 24 to meet the Bengals, but they got stuck on that damn 17 in their 17th conference game. So,
and that's the whole point of all this shit. We understand what the fuck they're doing. Not whether you're getting a goddamn sports game right or not. Fuck you people. These are the people that got to go, man. They just got to go, and there's too many of them. I'm sorry. There's too many of these motherfuckers. Yeah. You don't need to know about this, which means you got to fucking go because you're in the way.
Indeed.
I mean, if you can't accept that these fucking games are rigged, man, then fuck, you got to go. Get the fuck out of here.
I bet all my trolls are vaccinated. Might be a good thing.
I hope they're fucking taking their boosters, too.
Go get the 4th booster in Israel.
Please get it.
So,
please get it, because better start amping it up. They better start making more hot batches out there now, because I think less and less people are taking it now. Even fucking dumb people are starting to figure it out.
Yeah, until they got the next Greek strain.
Then they're right back at square one, man. It's like they ain't figured nothing out.
That's why they know they can get away with these. That's what I hate, man. They just know they got society so dumbed down, so they can just get away with these stupid ass scripts.
Yeah, man. I mean, like this one, they did the same shit they did last year. Fucking the same team hosting their Super Bowl. I mean, how do you get away with doing that 2 years in a row?
You had to love that the Chiefs were, exactly. I mean, just all this stuff's like, come on, like this has never happened. Now it happens 2 years in a row. The Chiefs,
that Beckham or whatever, that goofy fucker, big sellout to humanity too. They kept showing him at the end of the game, and I didn't realize he wears number 3, and they had him around doing all these stupid little dances at the end of the game, probably just so they could throw the 3 right in front of the screen.
Right.
It's just sickening, man, when you see what they're doing, man. It's just God.
I love that Jalen Ramsey. I still love that when they traded Jalen Ramsey to the Rams. It's like, God damn it, this league, man. But
who was the one they did with, what was that, a few years back, a guy that played for the Niners, the one where he was with a few teams, but he had the connection with Clinton Dix.
Oh, my God. Yeah, dude, that's
the Redskins. That's right. They had him on Washington. He was with Washington.
Yeah, Clinton Dix got sent to the Redskins. It's like, come on, man. Bill Clinton and the blowjob, and now we got Clinton Dix in the city. I mean, come on, man.
Just making fools of these people, man.
Not to mention, it's the city with the big obelisk that's clearly a dick. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Well, hey, man, I got an MVP or most valuable player on Burrows. I mean, was that just an accident, right? Did I put that in? Let's see if
we did well with the over/under today. That was something that came through. So.
Well, no, I mean before the playoffs, or when we found out this Tiger thing, that's when I went in and put a bet on him to win the most valuable player for the Super Bowl.
What odds did you get on that when you did it?
I think 10-1.
Not bad.
It's very likely to happen because how often if that team wins, it's the fucking quarterback, right? I mean, 9 out of 10 times, so they don't have to really do too much. Just don't turn the fucking ball over.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody has.
And it would be him. He's the Tiger. He's the Tiger. Oh, God, what did I hear? During the game, something I got worried about while the 49ers were up, they mentioned one of the special teams players on the Rams, and his name was Cannon.
Oh, my God.
I heard that, and I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, shit. I had to look. We got to look him up.
Yeah,
man.
we do.
He had a nice little alignment today.
He's a special teams player.
What number? Don't tell me he was 54. Number 54.
K.D. Cannon, is this him? Oh, look at what day he's born. On the Jesuit day, November 5th, the day leaving 56 days left in the year. He went to Baylor. Fucking A, man.
Baylor just won the championship.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his first name?
He used to play on the Niners, too. His name is Kadarius O'Keefe Cannon. But I heard him say Cannon on a special teams tackle. I was like, Cannon? That's not what I want to hear.
That's what they were doing, man. That's exactly what they were fucking doing. I didn't realize Billy Cannon until, a few days ago, or a couple days ago. Somehow was connected to the Rams. He was drafted by him, right?
Yeah, hold on. I got to make sure this is the right guy, though. I definitely heard a guy named Cannon when he was out on the field. He's 26 years old. It's probably him. Yeah, I meant to look it up while the game was going on, but it just snapped back into my head about this Cannon guy. Or no, this is him. It's different. It's Trenton Cannon. That's what I heard. Trenton Cannon. That's it.
Okay.
Trenton Cannon. I'm looking him up. Oh, wait a minute. No, never mind. He plays on the Niners, actually. I thought they said he was on the Rams when they were talking about it, but I didn't see him. They just said the name out loud. Wow, he's actually on the Niners.
Strange. Obviously, it's connected.
Yeah, but he's on the Niners.
Too much, man.
Huh. Yeah, I do wonder, man, if it could have gone either way, but it came down to money, so...
Honestly, though, man, I think the Bengals, they were the ones. I mean, just all those sacrifices, and, he's got the 2-1-3 in his name, Burrows. I mean, fucking Super Bowl ain't going to be on 2-1-3 again,
Exactly. Well, it might come up again now that they have the 17-game season. But,
likely not.
It's just like... They've been killing all these people that have, connected to the Bengals, but also some of them who had the history at the 49ers. And it's just like the story today. I mean, they talk about right here. Hessman died, today, and then they talk about how he got popular on the San Francisco comedy scene.
Yeah.
So,
the thing I noticed, too, Dad, I may have told you this earlier, but right before the game, these clowns before the Cincinnati game, they all pick, right? And, of course, the only guy to pick the Bengals was Boomer, and he
again
former player or analyst to pick them last week too, right?
Yep.
Well, in the other game, 3 out of the 4 of them picked the Niners, so it was just a complete opposite. If you would have went against their 2 picks, it was what it was.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know how often they do that, man. It just seems like most of the time they do, unless it's a real obvious game that everybody knows is going to win, and then they probably do, but maybe they don't cover or something. But
again, Boomer Sison's perfect because he's 60 years old right now. Bengals 60, Super Bowl on 303rd day of his age. Cincinnati Bengals 303. I mean, it's just perfect.
It is, man. It is perfect. And when you see this ahead of time, no matter if you get the score right or the game right, you just see how these characters are just perfectly aligned for all this bullshit, which means they've had it all figured out, like probably from the beginning of the league when they created it.
Exactly. Like the script was all written back then, and now they've been raising people and...
Yeah, the only thing that could have been maybe changed on the script is, well, maybe it was the Rams he was supposed to play or not, but if it was Burrows, he was going to be there. But, man, it is amazing how they lined all the 102s and 42s up, and it just didn't come in. It is mind-blowing how they were able to do all that.
Yeah, it is very interesting because, I mean, there was a good riddle for Mahomes as well, so...
Yeah, I just, like these players, like, do they know the whole script, the whole game, or do they only know half of it, and then the other half, or
Well, I think based on Rodgers, I think Rodgers was our insight to that because Rodgers, I think he got better this year. He had a better poker face this year, but in years past, you could just see when Rodgers was going to lose. Like he was coming out of the tunnel, like, what the fuck kind of script is this?
Well, I kept looking at Mahomes, and it looked like he didn't seem as excited in the second half at all. So. It's like, was he aware of this the whole game or just part of it? Maybe at halftime. Or,
I like how
great half, and then it's just like, fuck.
First he throws the ball right to the Bengals defender, and it doesn't get caught. Then the next one's the tip drill to number 24. So
yeah, I'm waiting for that one, man. I'm waiting for them to come out, and the dude say, yeah, we practiced that all week.
Yeah.
Right? The big line that...
The tip drill.
Hey, it throws it right in your goddamn arms. Get the fuck out of here, man.
And how about that? Did you see the 49er drop the interception? It's just like, that's the easiest interception in the history of the NFL.
And then you knew after that, that's how you know this is a complete mind fuck. And that's the way that was designed. That was designed for him to fucking put the ball right between his numbers, but then to act like he can't catch a football. right? Because then after that, then it's going to be a huge switch the other way where the Rams then 3rd and long, then they pick the big play up, and, it should have been a turnover on downs. That's like where you just start to see through these games and just see what a big mind fucking joke they all are. And dudes still want to pretend like this shit's at least on the up and up, or it's in the least legit. No, they're fucking. That's why the guy coach has got that big script over there. That's what they're doing. All they're doing is running the entire script of the game from beginning to end. There is no organic side.
And why are they all acting like mafiosos covering up their face while they talk? It's like, come on, man. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, who you fucking hiding it from? That would be only the TV. They can't see you in the fucking dugout. Like when everybody's huddled up at the mound and, nobody can hear you. It's only you and the first baseman or the pitcher's mound. It's just those guys. Like, they can't read your lips from all the way over there. It's like they don't want us to fucking hear what they're saying. I know what it is.
It's funny. I haven't been watching the Niners play at all, but my dad, he didn't watch the Niners at all this year because he said my dad's a 49er fan. He said he can't watch Jimmy Garoppolo play because it's too frustrating. He doesn't understand how he's in the NFL. And the last time I saw Garoppolo play, like when he was on the Patriots, he didn't seem that bad. But God, just watching him tonight, it was like the first time I watched a full 49er game. I was just going nuts. I was like, what the fuck can this guy not put the ball on the spot at all? I mean, all of his throws are behind the receiver, way high, has no field vision. There were 2 times he had a receiver just wide open by a mile and doesn't even throw to him. And it's just like, what is wrong with him? Like, how are you in the NFL and this bad? I mean, this is horrible.
It's sad, man. They just hike the ball, turn around, and throw it into the fucking ground.
Oh, my. Did you see the way? I mean, look at the way he ended the game. It was just pathetic, man. It was just pathetic. So.
It is pathetic. All of it is. Like, why can't people see through this, though, at all?
I don't know.
That's what I can't get, man. What the fuck is wrong
I know
with
most people aren't athletic, so they don't have any idea, like, how to play
that's
anyway.
That's what I figured it out, too. I mean, like, that's obviously what it is. You haven't played a lick of anything competitive in your life if you can't see that these games are fucking rigged. Real games don't go that way. I mean, does anybody go to a fucking playground? Do you watch how these guys play? And that's why it's irritating, because, like, and in some of those games, the only thing that was kind of good about the first game is they didn't call many flags, right? And then when they did, they just offset them. But then you had some calls in the second game where, like in the first half, they looked more like a penalty. And then the second half, then they were calling bullshit, like stuff that wasn't a penalty. Like, that's the type of shit there. Like, there's no way you would get that call. Like,
right.
That's certainly not a call on the playground.
They weren't calling the delay. There was 2 times they could have called delay a game on the Rams, and they didn't, but they called it both times on the Niners. And even Joe Buck pointed out one of the...
Yeah, that reminded me of that. Remember the Pittsburgh-Seattle Super Bowl? Like, how many times it was like delay a game, but they never would call it on Pittsburgh? I mean, there was other calls that were just fucking ridiculous. But, like, yeah, that was obvious. In that game, they did that. Like, I mean, it was well past the second, like, and they didn't call it.
Yeah. Bobby in the chat saying it was just scripted for him to throw like that. I mean, it could be that he's scripted to play like shit, but like even his touchdown to go up 17-7, I mean, he made the tight end have to jump a mile in the fucking air to catch the ball when if he puts a better pass on, it's just right on his numbers.
See, that's the stuff I noticed. Like, these guys are talented enough to usually, fucking get your mistake. Like if you make a mistake, they still make the ball. And then they're almost falling to the ground, and then the guys around them act like they can't fucking tackle because the guy knows where he has to go to get to the yard marker. See, that's what's so obvious about how scripted the game is.
Oh, my God. Did you see number 11 on the Niners? He regained his composure, started to run down the sideline. There was no reason to go out, and then he just goes out for no reason. And I was like, okay, he must have known that that's where the play was supposed to end because it looked like he had a straight shot to the end zone.
And the other thing about these games, like you had to have seen this too. I think it was in the first game. The punting, they're obviously using some type of technology because where the ball's being spotted, when you know what numbers they're playing, you're like, okay, that had to be spotted to start at the 35-yard line. There's just certain stuff like that you just know. Like, or the one guy, he kicked a 54-yarder for the Bengals. That was his only kick, right? Early in the game, his first kick was 54-yard punt, and the ball, like, the guy has to, like, make this crazy play and bounce it back in. but the ball is going to go where it's supposed to go. It's like some type of technology they're using to get that exact spot. That's what they have to be doing.
Yeah, I agree. It's amazing how often they start it at certain hash marks, and yeah, you recognize things when you know the numbers. And
hey, on that football, by the way, I see the 337. Like above it is the Bengals logo. Like, so I just assume that's the football that they were using on offense, right? And the Chiefs probably had their own football too, right?
That probably makes a lot of sense. Remember for the Super Bowl, they make 108 game balls. Each team gets 54 balls. Think about that. So.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, there's some other connection to that 108. I know geometry is 108, forwards and backwards, but I thought there was some other connection to that too.
There's a bigger one with, I think it's the geometry. In baseball, it's the Major League is 108 with 108 double stitches. Because again, the football's the important shape from sacred geometry, the Vesica Pisces. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, great talking to you. And, yeah, man, I'm glad we just figured it out late. You know, it was like the one year with the baseball. We were off early, but we nailed it late with the Skull and Bones. And, yeah, it came out making
it was almost like if it would have been Niners and Bengals, we would have nailed it like we did that year late. But it's close. So at least we weren't blindsided.
It kind of irks me because we were on the Bengals, but we were thinking – we were going to on them next year, right? Because that's really where you're into the year of Tiger.
But
because damn, I would have been all over the Bengals this year because just being from Cincinnati and shit, I would have just seen stuff like differently.
But see, it was being aware of those things, the strong connection to 54, and then the year of the Tiger, and then we're like, well, we got to think about it because it is the 54 season, and the year of the Tiger is the Super Bowl, so maybe that's all it's going to take, and that's obviously what it is.
Channel 54, they live, man.
Indeed. And it's just sad to think 2 years ago I was in Louisiana today educating about all the people that died in connection to 54 for Joe Burrow, and now it's the exact same thing as an NFL player. So
never fails, man. Never fails.
Well, appreciate it, Al. Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you, man. Thanks again.
Yeah, you're welcome. You have a good night.
Later. You too.
And again, you guys, Big Al, longtime veteran, and again, if everybody was like Big Al, man, I don't know how you can be a hater of this knowledge. So, 937, what's up?
Hey Zach, I called you last week. Even though I'm on the 937 area code, I'm down in Cincinnati too. So me and him need to hook up.
Oh, he doesn't live there anymore. He's originally from Cincy, but now he lives in the desert in Arizona. But Cincinnati's his hometown.
Gotcha. What I was going to say is we had talked about a lot about Burrow and stuff last week, and obviously, you know, the whole thing with 96 being a big number. I was interested in two things. One, earlier, I was live betting. I wish before that interception, the first one that Mahomes threw, do you know that the Bengals were 15-1 live bet, but I got froze out, right, because they came from commercial break, and he threw it on the first play.
Huh.
I was super sick about that because before that, when they were down 21-3, I thought the tell that they were going to lose was that play at the goal line, and Mahomes act like he didn't know they didn't have a timeout, and I was like, what? Like, you don't realize you don't have a timeout and there's 5 seconds left? And you run that play? Like, just complete foolery with Hill. And did you see on the sidelines when they were bickering back and forth?
I missed that part, but yeah, I know what you're saying about before halftime not getting any points.
Yeah, so in the second half, Hill and Hartman were bickering back and forth. And I was like, that doesn't seem like a team going to the Super Bowl. And then with Mahomes, he, as you guys were talking about, he had that just blank kind of like, oh, well, it's, you know, they told me what was up. And I found it interesting that, of course, when Roger Goodell could be in sunny L.A., he's in, again, back-to-back weeks doing a Bengal game, and he's sitting there, you know, up in the box. And I'm like, that's interesting because you never come to Cincinnati. And you could just tell that they were making it, all of a sudden the Bengals are getting all these defensive stops, and Mahomes acts like he, you know, was running around with a chicken, like a chicken with his head cut off.
I mean, look at it. I mean, how can it be? The Chiefs were making it look like they were playing a peewee football team and went up 21-3, just cruising down the field, and then what? They just have no offense all game? It's just like last week. The Rams are smoking Tom Brady 27-3, and then all of a sudden they can't do anything, and it's tied up 27-27. Then they go down the field on 2 passes wide open to Connor Kupp, who you think somebody would guard him since he set all these records this year, but somehow he's always wide open, Connor Kupp. He's the new Wes Welker. I always hated watching Wes Welker because it's like, how come nobody guards Wes Welker? Like, the closest defender is always 15 yards from this guy. It's the same thing with Connor Kupp. It's demanding to watch.
Yeah, of course, no actual racist quote here, but I always find it funny that there's always some white receiver that's always wide open. At least, you know what I mean? Like, not the super speediest or whatever, and he just seems to be wide open, just like Kelsey and those guys. I wanted to mention, I don't know if you said or anybody said this earlier to you, but Joe Mixon, you can actually look it up. 2 of Joe Mixon's best games ever in college were against Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech. Because he went to Oklahoma when Baker Mayfield went to Oklahoma. Yeah, I was looking it up because I'm always big into, for fantasy purposes and stuff like that. Like, normally if somebody's from a area or has something to do with an area, that's always a big deal. It's like Lamar Jackson playing in Miami a few years ago. He threw like 5 touchdowns. And I was like, I was like, Joe Mixon, he's from, by the way, Joe Mixon's from California, by the way. But I can mention that sometime later. But Joe Mixon went to Oklahoma, had like over 200 all-purpose yards in both games that he played against Mahomes. I can't remember if they won both. That's escaping me. But I found it interesting, and they mentioned it during the broadcast. Not only, by the way, is Zach Taylor named after our U.S. president, you can look that up, but Zach Taylor's first game with the Bengals was not a playoff game, was a game against the Chiefs in preseason in Arrowhead Stadium.
Wow.
And his last collegiate game, because he went to Nebraska, was the Big 12 championship game back in 07 or 08, and they used to have the Big 12 championship game at Arrowhead Stadium. So his very last game was there, too, as a collegiate athlete. And I was like, that's interesting. And even though I really did think it was going to be 49ers for a few reasons, I do think that they switched it up because I think, obviously, us in the truth community, we know what's going on. But I felt like they were like, hey, it's a little too obvious. And, of course, the Rams have a lot of different connections with the Super Bowl. And I remember last year we talked with Tampa Bay, and, of course, with the whole COVID thing and, hey, you have to wear an N95 mask. And if you look at the ticket prices, they're ridiculously high. They can sell all those tickets to these idiots out there in L.A., high-price tickets, $6,000, $7,000, stay at home again. By the way, isn't that funny? No Super Bowls for home teams ever, and then during COVID, 2 of them.
Right, exactly. They don't want people to travel, so, I mean, what a joke. What a joke.
Yeah, and I want to mention this last thing to you. So the Rams have a lot of connections. I know you, I saw you had their pro football reference up, and, of course, they're from Cleveland. So, obviously, the Rams have Ohio ties, but a lot of the coaches. So my area code 937 of my phone is a Dayton area code, and Sean McVay is from Dayton, Ohio. And I mentioned that to you years ago because if you remember, Dayton had a few different things happen. They had a bunch of tornadoes, I think, the year that they went to the Super Bowl, and they had, the mass shooting that happened in Dayton.
Right.
Now, if you remember that. Also, Zach Taylor, how he got to the Bengals job is he was with Sean McVay as the offensive coordinator. So you have that, and then obviously Stafford doing the whole Detroit to L.A. Thing, like Eminem is going to be doing the whole thing with Dre and all that. I just found it interesting. Oh, and Andrew Whitworth, you may want to look up his gematria. Andrew Whitworth, he was drafted as a Bengal, and the Bengals kicked him out before the Rams' first Super Bowl. They're like, yeah, you're old, we don't need you. And I think he may be 41 now. I'm not sure, but he's hung around long enough, and he was drafted as a Bengal, and he's still there. So there's a lot of connections between Ohio and the Rams that a lot of people are missing. So
yeah, the Rams. That's what was interesting about the Beckham trade, because again, he went from Cleveland to L.A. The Rams used to be in Cleveland, and they did it on the day leaving 56 days left in the year. His name equals 56, plus it's his birthday, and now he's in Super Bowl 56, where number 3, when you write out 3, is 56. So yeah, Odell was one of the things that I had in the back of my mind if they went with the Rams, and he is a big star. So yeah, I mean.
And of course, you got LeBron from Cleveland to L.A., and then
True.
in the song Thug Love, I believe, the intro is Tupac saying from Cleveland to L.A. because it's from Thug.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just interesting how life kind of repeats itself. I definitely think if there is another, tiger, if it isn't Burrow that wins, I think it would be Jamar Chase. His birthday is March the 1st, and he's from 2 hours outside of where Billy Cannon is from in St. Francisville. He's from 2 hours south of that. So,
okay. We got to look into all the people that played for schools that are Tigers that are in this game. Make sure there's not any on the LA side that we're overlooking.
I can give you a few. T. Higgins went to Clemson. So
Okay.
he's a Clemson Tiger. That's why I knew he would do well against Tennessee, because he was actually from Tennessee originally. Jalen was Florida State. Von Miller, I'm trying to think, he was a Texas A&M Aggie. Would a Panther count? Because Aaron Donald was a Pitt Panther.
It's close, but it is the year of the Tiger, not the year of the Panther. Odell, he went to LSU Tigers. Neo just said that in the chat. That's true. He's a Tiger.
Yeah. Cam Akers, I think Cam Akers went to USC, didn't he?
They're the Trojans.
So that wouldn't be it. But Tony Michel, who
he's
was,
Georgia.
Big in that
That's a
Super Bowl
Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah, Georgia guy. So I'm trying to think if there's any like mainstream.
I'll go through their roster, but yeah, you want to look for all the Tigers. I bet the Tigers have a great game in the Super Bowl for your little player bets there. I'd look into all the Tigers for your prop bets in the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. I was going to say one last thing. So the Bengals, Thaddeus Moss was Randy Moss' son. I don't know if he's still in the practice squad, but he was the Bengal in the practice squad. One of their offensive linemen, he was in the national championship game along with Chase, too. So I think the Bengals may have at least 5 different Tigers on their team. And with that, I bid you adieu. And fuck the haters, Zach. You're cool with me and always have been. I appreciate it.
Well, appreciate the call, man. Good thoughts. You have a good night.
Thanks.
We're going up to Canada. I got to wrap it up here soon. Canada, what's going on?
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
Hey, I noticed a few things actually while I was trying to get through, but do you think there's cross sports do you think it could cross over from the CFL? Because
of course it does, because again, Joe Burrow's dad played for 3 games in the NFL, 51 in the CFL for 54 combined games. Now his son's in the Super Bowl in the year of the 54th Bengals season. So yeah, it's all there.
Okay, so what I'm seeing is his dad's full name is James Arthur Burrow. He won the CFL Grey Cup on November 27th, 1977.
Okay.
So his dad's full name and full reduction is 78.
Hold on. That means he won that championship 44 years and a few months ago. Now the Super Bowl's on the 44th day of the year, so that stands out. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so James Arthur Burrow equals 78 in full reduction, and it'll be the Super Bowl's on February 13th, right?
Uh-huh.
And so that's 78 days after he won the
anniversary. Crazy. Okay.
Yeah. So and Joseph Lee Burrow also equals 78. So it's a connection to his dad. And then also in the CFL this year, the Tiger Cats were just in the CFL Grey Cup, and they lost. But it'll be 63 days after that, and Montreal Alouettes, who James Arthur Burrow played for, is 63 full reduction. So
very good. By the way, about that 44 years ago, the Bengals were the 4 seed and so were the Rams. So you got the 4 seed versus the 4 seed on the 44th day of the year.
Yeah, and then and I gotta go. So, but one more thing. So the beginning of that game today, they started off 21-3. Joseph Lee Burrow in reverse ordinal is 2-1-3.
Right. Yeah. Indeed. Yep.
And then the Super Bowl is on 2-13.
In the 213 area code. Indeed. Yep. You must have missed earlier in the stream. I was showing how the 213th page in my book is coincidentally where I first talk about Joe Burrow in it. So it was in my book all along. It was written. It was written down. So.
Yeah, I saw that post. I gotta go though. Sorry.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Let's go out to Missouri. 314. 314.
Let you know, you pissed me the fuck off with this shit, man. Like, straight up, man.
How come?
You go on her. Because you go on her acting like you didn't fuck us, man.
Well, you just heard people who won money today and people who thanked me. I mean, if you lost, sounds like it was on you. You didn't win with the Bengals? Bengals were a 7-point dog today. Let's say you bet 100 on the Bengals and 100 on the 49ers. Did you come out ahead today?
Fuck, no. I bet on the Niners and I lost on the Niners, man.
So what did you do on the Bengals game?
I won on it.
So you won on the Bengals and you lost on the Niners. So how did you come out ahead for the day since the Bengals were a 7-point dog?
Dude, I'm talking about you, man. Besides that, it ain't even about the money. It's about you going on here like acting like you just high and mighty and shit. Like you didn't fuck over people, man.
I haven't fucked over people. People won a lot of money off my work over the years, my man. And you're not making any sense. If you bet on the Bengals today and you bet on the Niners, you should have come out ahead. So how are you complaining?
You want to say, bring up shit you did in the past. Like, ain't nobody talking about the fucking past right now, Zach. You're talking about right now.
Well, right now, all right, so hold on. You just bet $100 on the Bengals today, you said, and $100 on the Niners. So how did you come out losing today?
Dude, that's not what I bet, bro. That's not what I bet.
But you just said you won on the Bengals and lost on the Niners. So regardless of what you bet, how do you lose if that's the case? Because the Bengals paid out a lot today.
Dude, it ain't about that. It's about
I want to make a point to everybody. I want to make a point.
Making good picks, man. Like, the shit got to be for show, man. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like,
you don't make any sense. You don't make any sense. You should have come out ahead.
I didn't bet with the damn casino. I'm betting versus my friends and shit, man.
Well, if you bet on the Bengals, you bet with your friends. Well, sorry, man. You should have bet at the casino where you get the good payout on the Bengals upset as a 7-point dog. All right, sorry, buddy. You got to be smarter. Again, dumb people lose with this knowledge, so maybe take a look in the mirror. Take a look in the mirror and go, wait a minute, am I one of these dumb people he's talking about? Because I know everybody else in the community mostly came out ahead today. A lot of people, adios, man. This guy's retarded. He did, okay. 210, what's up?
Yes. Zach, it's Tim.
Oh, what's up, man?
Hey, let me walk closer to the Wi-Fi. Man, God, you know what? Anybody that loses, look, first of all, any troll listening, I went to Vegas to disprove Zach's work earlier this year. And if you lose with this knowledge, I'm happy. Because you're a fucking idiot and you're stupid and you're gambling. You're betting too much. You're not betting smart. You're not betting slow. If you're right 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, 6 times out of 10, you're going to come out ahead in the long run. Zach is way over that average, the 50% average. So
you went down to Vegas this year and killed with the horse racing. We had Medina Spirit. By the way, this is how sick it is, you guys. Medina Spirit, we had Medina Spirit to win the Kentucky Derby in a big 201 ritual. The Jesuits sacrificed that horse on the 201st day of the Ignatian year this year, and they said it was some kind of accident. Not when you know this knowledge. That's the same number we used to pick Medina Spirit to win it. Then they kill it in a 201 Jesuit ritual. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I built up my bankroll with the knowledge. I started with the last Super Bowl, and you nailed it the week before. You had all 4 teams, right? You did really good last year. And then, so I won with the Super Bowl, and then I won with March Madness with the Oral Roberts. And so there was other games, I was slowly building up my bankroll. And, like you said, I won really huge at the New York for the horse racing. My point, I didn't want to talk about all this stuff, but because of these idiots that are calling, crying, oh, you fuck them, Zach. Don't even give them more than 10 seconds on the phone. They're so much more important. Hey, look, if you lost, it's because your knowledge and you're not helping the community. You're not using your brain. You're betting stupid. I don't know what it is, but you can't lose with this knowledge in the long run unless you're a fucking idiot. So anyways, the reason why I'm calling you is before this NFL season began, I was on the phone with my cousin. They had prop bets on all the teams on, how many games will they win in the regular season. Cincinnati Bengals over under was 5. They were, meaning you would get you would get 50 plus 100. It's basically double your money. So if you said, Cincinnati will win 5 or more regular season games, then you double your money, right? And it was funny because you had the Browns with more. You had every team in their division was like supposed to win. Pittsburgh Browns and Baltimore. But then on the basement pick was Cincinnati Bengals. And I thought that was kind of funny. So their odds to go to the Super Bowl was probably really big. I don't know what it was. The reason why I'm calling you was there any clues before the season began for the Rams or for the Bengals?
Well, the Bengals, remember, we thought the Bengals were going to have a good year and make the playoffs in getting Burrow's, looking good before next year, because I thought next year was the year Burrow, I talked about the beginning that the next year we could see Burrow in the Super Bowl because it's the year of the Tiger. But that's why we start when we saw that. But then I was like, man, you know what? That Super Bowl that's why we saw it after the wild card. We're like, God, man, the Super Bowl is the first game of the year of the Tiger, and it is his 54th season, and that's his number, and the Joe Montana number. So, I mean, had we really thought about that at the beginning of the year, knowing all that we knew about Joe Burrow and 54 and Tiger, I mean, we could have, in hindsight, I feel like we should have saw like that. That would be the long shot right there with the big payout. So, yeah, the clues were there. But I was locked into the Black Lives Matter thing. I thought that's where they were going to go with it, with Super Bowl 56 in the 102nd season. And I was right in my initial thought that Mahomes was going to go to 3 straight Super Bowls. So, I mean, had I come in as a blank sheet instead of already had that driving thought, when it wasn't so bad to have that driving thought, because, I mean, it helped us out the year before, but yeah, the clues were there. And, I mean, that's kind of why we found them better late than never. But, yeah, in hindsight, we should have thought more about that at the start of the year, so.
Well, that's why I like putting 4 chips into 4 different teams like I did with the NCAA basketball. Sorry, neighbor dog. People got their dogs. You got to protect yourself in South America. It's fucking crazy. It's getting more and more crazy here. It's so dumb.
Like wild dogs?
Anyways,
is that what you're saying? Wild dogs?
Nah, it's just a neighbor dog. There's no street dogs during coronavirus. It's really strange. I don't know. Maybe they poisoned them all or something. Huh. What was I going to say about the Bengals? Oh, okay. So it's the year of the Tiger starting in a couple days. What year is it now?
It starts February 1st.
2021.
It starts February 1st.
Yeah, I know. But what are we at right now?
I honestly don't even know. I've just been zeroed in on because if you read my book, I mean, I talk about in the book why the pandemic's going through the year of the Tiger. So I've been zeroed in on when the year of the Tiger is. I don't even know what Chinese year we're in right now, honestly.
Maybe the rat or something. Who knows? All right, Zach, I love your work. Man, give the trolls 5 seconds. Don't even waste your time and energy.
Well, sometimes I'm just trying to understand these people. Like, I'm just trying to understand where they're coming from. He's like, I won on the Bengals but lost on the Niners. You fucked up my day. I'm just like, well, wait a minute. That shouldn't have fucked up your day. So...
I'm just happy because they're stupid.
It's the year of the ox, for the record. I had to look it up.
I went to Vegas to disprove your work, and the longer I was there for like 5.5 months, and I just kept getting richer and richer and richer, and I'm like, okay, there's something to this. I haven't been doing anything because I'm busy with other things right now. But don't understand an idiot. Why bother? They're stupid. So give them 5 seconds and hang up.
Well, sometimes I just want to hear like what their problem is, but they always do sound really stupid. I'm just like, this is just the problem. They're just dumb. So.
It's like you say, small bets, slow. Don't bet your whole bankroll on one shot. If you think, like, there's certain times where you just know, okay, the riddle's lining up. Technically, you should only be making, medium to small bets once a week anyways on almost the for sure things. Because there's a lot that's almost for sure, Like, you just look at it, you're like, okay, like Hank Aaron dying, that's for sure that, the Braves are going to win it, all the numbers with that. And, you don't have to bet every single damn thing. If you're betting every day or 20 times a day, you're too much. Just do the for sure stuff.
Indeed. Again, I always tell people, Big Al's been here for years, consistently winning, and sometimes he goes in a rough patch, but he never loses a lot. He's playing with house money. He's built up that bankroll, and he just makes small, intelligent bets with big payouts. And I mean, Big Al's literally turned a $10 bill into several thousand with some of the bets and things that we've seen. And again, everybody can be doing that. You don't have to risk a lot to build up the cash flow with this knowledge.
I mean, think about it. A 3-team parlay with Oral Roberts at plus 1,400 with a couple other teams. You're gonna do that. You're gonna turn a little.
We hit some real nice big upsets in March Madness, and we will do it again. So.
Yeah, I might have to get back into Gematria. I've been learning other things right now. I don't want to bore you with it, but I have been super busy with my life, and I catch 1 out of 10 of your streams. Like, I've been so busy with what I'm doing down here in Ecuador.
Sure.
That I had to put the Gematria on the back burner. But man, I really wish I was with you in Oklahoma City. I got to meet you in wherever we were. That P city was it?
Portland.
Phoenix.
We were in Portland.
I got to meet you in Portland, so I'm happy about that.
Well, I appreciate you coming out, Tim, and we'll meet again, my man. You have a good night. Stay busy.
Yeah. All right.
Take care.
You, Zach.
All right, one more call, and then we're wrapping it up. Bowling Green, 364.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
So I see your grift now, man. I see how you do it. It's you come up with these predictions, and if you ever get them wrong, then you work your way around it and then say, oh, well, you know what? I actually had this, and I hedged my bets. And if you would have bet on both the Bengals and the 49ers, you would have been okay. Well, the one guy said last week that you went 4 for 4. That's wrong. You went 1 for 4. You got the Chiefs game right, but you got the other 3 wrong.
How's that?
And this week you got 1 out of 2 right.
That's not correct.
So you went
He's talking about last year. He said last season. Last season we were perfect in the playoffs.
Okay.
And we didn't go 1 for 4 last week. That's a lie. That's
How
false.
are you going to go 0 for 4 in the division? Or sorry, 1 for 4 in the divisional, and then 1 for 2 in the conference?
No. Incorrect.
You picked the Chiefs. You picked the Chiefs in the divisional. That's the one you got right. You picked the Titans to beat the Bengals.
And a lot.
You
So,
can't really go
so
on
how
your
did
side.
Big Al won over $1,000 last weekend off the picks. Anybody else could have done the same thing. I said if the Bengals upset, which we thought there was a strong chance they could upset the Titans, I said if you take the Titans, make sure you hedge with the Bengals because they have a good narrative. And I said if the Bengals win, the 49ers will upset the Packers. And a lot of people waited to see on that game, and they took the 49ers to beat the Packers. So what the fuck are you talking about? Exactly. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, sorry ass motherfucker. All right, no caller ID. What's going on?
When I pull up to Washington with that Billy Western.
What? What?
I'm pulling up to Washington.
You're pulling up to Washington with what?
They leaked your shit in a Patreon, and I'm pulling up on your ass.
It sounds like your voice is breaking up, so, get through puberty before you come to the door. All right. Until next time. Jesus. Come on, 267. What's up, 267?
What's up, Zach? I had called you last week about the Rams with the coming full circle with Brady.
Right.
So a couple of observations I wanted you to look into. To me, I think like a lot of people are saying that the season might be for Joe Burrow and all that, but I think to me personally, I think it's a tribute to Kurt Warner. I hear a lot of people saying how Stafford could get his 99th loss, but if you look at it, Kurt Warner won the Super Bowl 99 season. The movie came out. He wore number 13. This is Stafford's 13th season.
It is a huge tribute to Kurt Warner. For people who missed it earlier, let me just show this. The movie that came out about Kurt Warner on Christmas Day, again, it's been a big 13 ritual. Stafford in his 13th season. Warner did wear 13, but the movie came out 50 days after, or the movie came out 50 days before the start of the Super Bowl. Kurt Warner's 50 years old right now. Kurt Warner and Gematria equals 50. So does San Francisco, and they just went through San Francisco to get to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, the Kurt Warner thing is very interesting. And go ahead with the rest of your thought.
Also, I noticed that I think it was last week when everybody was saying they thought Cincinnati and San Fran was going to the Super Bowl, and they was talking about the catch. Remember? Everybody was talking about the catch from the Super Bowl with San Fran and Cincinnati.
Right.
Okay, well, today at the end of the game, they pulled up an interesting stat that Cooper Kupp broke the record for most yards in the playoffs. He broke Larry Fitzgerald's record the year that Kurt Warner and Arizona went to the Super Bowl in 2008. But if you remember, they lost on the catch at the end.
Right.
So I think a lot of this season, to me, I don't know. I just started listening to you, so I don't know all the numbers stuff. But I be hearing y'all say a lot of different numbers, and to me, it just looked like it's all for LA to win the chip, and it's a tribute for Kurt Warner. Also, I heard y'all mentioning a lot about the number 16, and Whitworth played for Cincinnati. He like the second, third oldest player in the league, but this is his 16th year in the league. And he probably will retire after this year, so I don't know if he goes out for the Super Bowl. I just be looking at storylines, and when I listen to you, I hear the numbers and just try to look at different numbers and all. But I think they're selling the Burrow thing too much, because even if you watch the game today, it's like every time Burrow threw a pass, they just shot a record out there. He could be the third player to win the Heisman and then win the Super Bowl in his second year. And it's like, to me, they're selling Burrow too much where he's going to lose. And even if you look at the movie The Underdog, now the Rams, their first game against Arizona, everybody questioned. They might have won. Vegas might have had them as favorites, but everybody questioned. Stafford never won. They wasn't favored against Tampa Bay. Just now against San Fran, even though they were favored by Vegas, everybody was saying, but San Fran ran over them all year. And now we're having the same thing. So really, LA is flying under the radar, underdog status, that kind of thing. And I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. And also, my last point I wanted to make is the coaches. I don't think we're paying enough attention to the coaches. Andy Reid lost. Belichick is getting old. It's time to usher these new coaches in. A lot of these newer coaches is from McVay tree. Zach Taylor being one of them. So I think if Brady does retire, McVay will be the last coach to beat Brady in the playoffs. And I just think it's something with McVay where they're going to make him like one of the winningest coaches or something. And I don't know, maybe we should look into that more. That's just my thoughts.
Well, they are great thoughts. Bobby in the chat agrees with you, who's a big Rams fan. He thinks the Rams are definitely winning it.
Shout out to Bobby, because Bobby won me money. I picked Cincy in LA once I seen the 2-1-3 thing. Also, shout out to the guy. You got a guy to call you, and he always calls a week late about the basketball things. But when I was looking at the dates, I said it in the comments last week and this week, but I'm new, so I don't think people really paid me no mind. But last week on that date, LA was 1-0. They got to 2-0. Today they were 1-0 playing on games on this day. This day was the day that they won their Super Bowl in 2000. So they went 2-0 on that day. So you got some good guys in the community. Shout out to y'all. Y'all definitely doing your thing.
All right. Appreciate the thoughts. You have a good night. Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah. The typical Gematria numbers don't look good for the Rams at all, but the Kurt Warner thing, the Stafford 13th season, the Georgia championship, I mean, those narratives are there for the Rams. 661.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, I just had I appreciate the work and everything. So this is the thing, man. I have an issue with you always having picks every single time after the game is over.
When do I have picks after the game's over? When does that ever happen?
Yeah, you never predict anything when the game is actually, like, before the game.
Well, that's completely false. So.
No, it's not false. You give the explanation after the game is over.
So are you on my Patreon page?
No, not on your Patreon
Then
page.
what the fuck are you talking about? What a fucking retard. The pics are on Patreon for all you fucking retards. God, what a dumbass. God. Fucking moron. Anyway, next caller.
I'm going to keep it 55th Street. You a real-life custer on hood.
Explain something to me. So I can hear in your voice that you're a young black person. How do you hate on a guy like me who stood up for black people and showed the way the media demonizes black people by a code? How do you hate on a guy like me, just out of curiosity, as a young black male?
I'm going to keep it nifty on 50. You just a whole ass nigga.
That doesn't make any... That's not a good response.
I don't like your arrogance, man.
That's not a good response. What's that phrase mean anyway? I'm going to keep it nifty on 50. Is that like some 50 Cent thing? What is that?
That's Crip Mac, man.
Okay. Well, hey, you should work on the people you hate on because you're hating on the wrong person. All right, next time. 443.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up?
Yeah, Super Bowl 50, Carolina against Denver. That whole ritual, you called that. When Donald Trump came into president, his logo was Make America Great Again. Patriots won. Philadelphia won. Washington, D.C. hockey team won, as well as Washington, D.C. Baseball team had won. And I killed it from between those years because of you. And I just wanted to tell your listeners that you don't really pick the games. What you really try to do is read the numbers and see where those numbers take you, you know? So...
Well, I'm glad to hear that you've done well with the knowledge, man. Appreciate the call. $314.
Yeah, we got in. Man, just want to talk about the young other caller from Missouri. Man, he was young, man. He was young, and you can obviously tell that he betted all his money on the 49ers, like a jackass. But anyway, I was listening to the radio too, man, and they was also trying to pump up how if Stafford wins the Super Bowl, he'll have the same accolades as Rodgers, and he might retire in 5 years. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool on how they pumping that up or whatever. But I'm going to tell you like this. Ever since we've been talking about the year of the Tiger, the Bengals just popped in my head just automatically. I don't know why, but that's just how it was for me. But talking about football, like you said, man, it's all picks. Because, I mean, I'm an athlete, man. I've been playing football since I was little, all the way up until college. And that's all sports, football, basketball, baseball, you name it. And you can tell when you get up, the further you get up, the more a lot of stuff don't make sense as far as what the coaches be doing and stuff.
Of course not.
Like, for example, in the NFL, you can see how it's a reason they all got headsets on.
Right.
The quarterback has a headset on, and we wonder how they throw like today. They threw a 10-yard pass to number 10. Touchdown. They're telling the quarterback in his headset from the people upstairs who also got headsets on who to throw it to and what to do.
And the other question is, since we know that the quarterback has a headset in his helmet, how do we know that the rest of the players don't have headsets in their helmet?
Exactly, Zach. So I'm glad you said that. That was the next point I was getting to. Everybody has headsets on.
They could have been yelling at that 49er, don't dare fucking catch that ball. You better drop that shit. Because, I mean, how don't you intercept the ball?
Right, exactly. And to go further, my son plays football. And he's 10 now. He started when he was 6. His first year football coach played in the league. He played with the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, I was listening to your work. So I just really, man, I pulled the guy to the side. I had to ask him. I said, look, man, is the game's rigged, man, for real? He looked side to side. Then he looked at me. He was like, yeah, man, they are. And I was like, damn. I was like, for real? He was like, man, we'll be working on something all week. And then come game time, they'll be like, we going to run this. Something totally different than what they've been working on all week. You know what I'm saying? And that's to go to show you, too, that it's rigged, too. Like, somebody from the NFL is telling you some shit like that. And it's just a lot of stuff that they do don't make sense. And then to go to the point when y'all was talking about why they cover their mouths when they be calling plays and stuff like that. The reason they start doing that is because, deaf people. And they got a lot of lip readers. And they were listening and finding out what these people were saying and betting on it and getting the advantage and winning, and, in situations like that. So, therefore, that's why they cover their mouths and stuff, so you can't hear, so the lip readers can't read the script, so to speak. You feel what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Because a lot of lip readers were reading the script right there on national TV that they was giving off, and they were, making Vegas, I guess, so to speak, lopsided sometimes. That's why you got some of those guys that made those big bets and stuff like that. And that's why they cover their mouths and stuff like that when they come to calling plays and stuff like that. And that goes on as far as basketball. It's all scripted, like you said, Zach. And you are the first one to actually, to me, break the... I knew it was a code, and I just didn't know what they were going by. But since Gematria... man, you can put that shit together so easily, man. Like you said, you have to be just downright dumb to not see this shit. Fact. And I mean, for anybody that even give you problems or act like, man, just move on. Don't even worry. Don't even waste your energy, man. Keep it pushing. It's just a casualty of war is how I look at it. Hey, it is what it is sometimes. And sometimes those people be the ones you love, too. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. Well, I appreciate the call, friend. Thank you.
All right. You have a blessed one, Zach.
Yeah. You have a good night.
Keep up the work.
Will do. Take care. By the way, one of the mistakes I made this year is I looked at, because again, the WWE is always synced up with the NFL. And I forgot to look at Royal Rumble this year. We just looked at WrestleMania. WrestleMania had Dallas, and originally when the Super Bowl was scheduled for February 6th, it was 56 days from WrestleMania in Dallas. And again, it's Super Bowl 56. But the Royal Rumble this year is in St. Louis, which is the home of the Rams, obviously. The Rams went from St. Louis to L.A., and now the Rams are in the Super Bowl. And I didn't even think about the Royal Rumble. And I don't really follow wrestling, so... But every year, you got to pay attention to where they schedule the big WWE events around the time of the Super Bowl. So the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, because they always end up being connected to the championship game in the NFL year after year. And again, we were looking at the Super Bowl before they rescheduled it for February 13th. And one of the things we were looking at was like, okay, February 6th, that day can be written 6-2, Patrick Mahomes 62, Chiefs 62nd season. If it's Chiefs and Cowboys, that could make sense because Mahomes can get to 10-2 in the playoffs, 102nd season. He could beat the Cowboys 102. So that's why that was the initial thought. I was really thinking that this year was Super Bowl 56 because the thing is, the season before last, on September 20th, you can go back and look, the Chiefs beat the Chargers in the stadium where the Super Bowl is going to be this year. That was on the day leaving 102 days left in the year. And the NFL story about that day was how it was the most black quarterbacks facing each other in the history of the NFL. The most starting black quarterbacks against each other that day. And if you go back and look, the article for ESPN about that, it had Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson as the picture for the cover of the story because the Ravens and Texans played each other, and the Ravens beat the Texans, becoming 10-2 against them. So, we had these thoughts going, Mahomes go to 3 straight Super Bowls, the Black Lives Matter, maybe the first Super Bowl with 2 black quarterbacks. So I had all these thoughts. I mean, it obviously ended up not being that way, but that's why we caught after the wild card round that, man, maybe they're not going to go the Black Lives Matter route. Maybe it's this Joe Burrow year of the Tiger thing. And by catching that, I mean, it did help people make money back that they would have lost. So for all the people who are like, oh, you just like to pick different scenarios and then say you call. I mean, I said I gave myself a D+ this year. This is probably the worst season I've had, but it's still. Did you guys see that Joe Burrow and the Bengals could end up in the Super Bowl after the wild card round? At the beginning of the season, did you point out that the Bengals would make the playoffs this year and have a good season? Because I mean, we had all these ideas, and again, from being aware of everything that I wrote about Joe Burrow in here, it helped us understand why he actually might be the guy that the Super Bowl was scripted around. So. Again, I know Bobby. Again, shout out to Bobby. Bobby was all over the Ram. Bobby really liked the Rams Bengals narrative. It's Burrow's second season. It's Stafford's 13-2-13 Super Bowl on 2-1-3. And I see Bobby's going crazy in the chat that the Rams are going to win. They might win, but again, you can see that the thing's a lot more scripted around Joe Burrow than it is Matt Stafford, in my opinion. The Kurt Warner movie being connected though is interesting, but again. Think about it, Burrow's facing every team Billy Cannon's connected to, and so far he's beaten all 3 of them, so he only has 1 left to beat. But, again, pay attention, because it's 2 weeks to the Super Bowl. There'll probably be a big story connected to the Super Bowl between now and then, and sometimes you need that last clue, to give you your best bet at winning the pick. So... Yeah, and for the people who, like the caller today who bet on the Bengals and the 49ers and lost, I mean, you got to be smarter. If you bet on the Bengals and 49ers, you should have come out ahead today because the Bengals were a big payout. And, again, you guys, if you play smart with the knowledge, you're going to win. The smart people in this community consistently win and have built up, some fat bank accounts. Those of you guys who can't win with the knowledge... You guys need to look in the mirror and recognize that the problem's you. The problem's not me. The problem is you. You're not making good use of the knowledge. And again, it's just like give one man a tool, he'll build a house. Give another man a tool, he'll probably chop off his leg. So again, take a look in the mirror and recognize who the real problem's with. And for all of you guys who talk shit that have been here for like a year, I mean, shut the fuck up. I have a huge resume going back several years in all sports, college and pro, doing shit nobody's ever done before. And that's just the reality at the end of the day. And if you can't accept that, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I can back it up. USA Today write an article about you, trying to expose you for exposing how rigged the NFL is? Probably not. Vice News write an article about you? Probably not. Sports Illustrated write about an article about you? Probably not. You know why they wrote articles about me? Because I'm a threat to these billion-dollar establishments because I am really exposing how fucking rigged they are, who's rigging it, how they're doing it, who they're killing for it, and those are all things to take into your head. It's not just about winning off bets. It's about understanding what's really going on. We're exposing ritualistic murders, evil, things that people should care about. But the problem is, at the end of the day, a lot of people in this world... I've been pretty convinced since I was 18 years old that the majority of these people in this world, they're turned sour by this society, and they mostly are evil. It's why they don't care about the truth. It's why they go along with evil. And again, it's too bad, but that's what I noticed. So anyway, we'll leave it there for now. Congrats to the winners. Again, shout out to Bobby. Good call. And Bobby, hope you're building back up that bankroll. All right, you guys, have a good night. Till next time.